Honoring country music's legends and celebrating today's new music, too. Real country.
Live from English Stadium in Altavista, it's time for Colonels football. The Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country. We're in our 54th consecutive season of broadcasting high school sports. I'm Kyle Haney. With me again this season, my very fine friend, esteemed colleague, a man with many nicknames. We'll call him Agent Zero for tonight, Oscar Briggs. How are you, sir? Does it feel like Christmas morning again?
No, it doesn't feel anything like Christmas morning. People, Kenny Chesney talked about boys of fall. It's anything but fall like today with the dog days of autumn hanging dead, August hanging dead over us, temperature in the low to mid-90s. It's sweltering out there for these kids tonight.
I think 96 is what it topped out at earlier today, and that would be a record for August 26th. It's the Subway pregame show again, so excited to be able to say that, and Oscar and I will talk about our Subway experience in just a few moments here. Before we get to hear from the head coach, Mike Sharness, Oscar, let's you and I talk for just a little bit. Strange year last year. It was a 5-7 final record for the Colonels. Obviously not what they're accustomed to, but there were some highlights. There were certainly some moments they wish they would be able to do over again. Brand new year this year, and you do have some senior leadership returning.
You do, and of course last year that season started off with a loss at Central-Lunenburg, breaking a 25-game Altavista winning streak, coming off the back-to-back state championships. So again, you do have some of the senior leadership from players that got a lot of playing time last year. This year looks very promising for this senior class of Colonels.
Sure does. It was 41-34 Central-Lunenburg last year. We were up in Victoria there in the middle of Lunenburg County, and always a nice trip up there, but always nice to be home here at the friendly confines as well, and it should be a very fun night. It should be a very fun year. We'll get to talk about so much more when we come back. It's the Subway pregame show. Two great locations in Altavista, Main Street, of course, and then inside the Walmart just off Clarion Road. Let's hear from the head coach of the Altavista Colonels, Mike Sharness. It's high school football. It's back. It's back. You've been waiting for it, and we're so excited to be bringing it to you. It's all live between the Colonels and the Chargers. Kick off in about 27 minutes on 105.5 KD Country.
How do we make a better sandwich at Subway? Our new chicken Caesar melt is a great example. We start with tender rotisserie-style chicken that's raised without antibiotics. Top it with a savory Caesar sauce and add melted provolone and a sprinkle of Parmesan cheese for a flavor that's so deliciously unique, it redefines what a better sandwich should taste like. The all-new chicken Caesar melt from Subway. Limited time only.
A short drive will save you money.
I'm Greg Walker with an exciting new offer from Fellers Chevrolet. Purchase any new or used vehicle of Fellers and receive a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty and a 3-day, 100% money-back guarantee. Again, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty and a 3-day money-back guarantee. At Fellers Chevrolet, we stand behind what we sell, and we save you money. Come see us. You'll be glad you did.
A short drive will save you money. Fellers Chevrolet in Altavista.
Have you looked at your business banking fees lately? I'm Sean Stone with First National Bank, and we have the best business accounts which offer serious savings for your company. We have a full menu of business products from checking accounts and remote deposit capture to online banking. And we have a local merchant card representative who will customize services just for your business. So let First National Bank prepare an analysis of your current activity and show how we will reduce your banking fees. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
It's cold in here. Will your heating system keep you warm this winter, or will you spend a cold evening shivering under the covers? Have your heating system inspected today by Tyree Littles Heating and Cooling. Kent Tyree has over 20 years experience and specializes in heating, air, plumbing, and electrical. Licensed and bonded. Call for an appointment today. 309-2266. 309-2266. Tyree Littles Heating and Cooling.
Your high school sports station with award-winning coverage on 105.5 KD Country.
We return to the press box at Altavista High School for the Subway pregame show. The Colonels taking on the Chargers from Central-Lunenburg. Game 1, the 2016 season is upon us, and we're chatting with the first time with head coach Mike Charnas. And Coach Charnas, first off, glad to be back. Hope you had a great summer. And I asked you a similar question last year, but you still feel like a kid on Christmas when this first game rolls around every year on the calendar?
Yeah, it pretty much has been that. That's a neat thing about this coaching. It does feels like it brings you back a few years because everyone's excited, the players, the coaches. Hopefully the students are, and the stands and the fans are excited. And everyone that's opening up tonight is the same way. Everyone's in the same position, so it's always interesting to see what happens on this opening night.
Should be fun. Before we get to tonight's game in particular, tell us about how your summer practices have gone and the 2 scrimmages. Are you seeing the kind of things that you thought you might see at this point from your team?
I'm not sure what I was expecting to see when we finished our 2 scrimmages, but from practice, once practice started and we had our 2 scrimmages, we scrimmaged pretty much the way we've been practicing, which was we didn't turn the ball over too much. Now, this last scrimmage, we turned it over a couple times. But we weren't making too many mistakes. We weren't making a whole lot of mistakes. Our defensive look, our 3-4 that we're running, is a new defense. So I think it's going to be, throughout the year, a work in progress, and we hope to get better each week as we go along defensively. Offensively, it's gone pretty much the way it's looked in practice.
Well, let's touch on last season for just a moment. There was a lot of highs and a lot of lows. Did the lows from last season kind of drive your off-season workouts with you and your guys, or was it business as usual and you just kind of tried to forget about last season?
I'm trying to remember the highs that we had last year. 4 and 6. Yeah, 4 and 6. Yeah, we were pretty disappointed with that. I think maybe my younger days, I might have driven that home to the team. 4 and 6, got to do this, got to do that. It was mentioned a number of times, and our kids know what's expected of them and what we want to, how we want to work. And we have worked better in the off season. We have prepared better in the off season for different reasons, not just because the individual wanted to work more. It's just the personnel that we have this year. We have worked a little bit harder, and I think in our early, and I know we haven't played a game yet, but it has shown itself so far. Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about that personnel that we're going to see tonight and throughout the year. I know it starts with a good senior class that you have and some guys that really are experienced.
Yeah, on the offensive line, Steve Farmer leads us off with experience. This is his 3rd year starting. Ethan Young is coming back from a car accident, and he's potentially going to get a little bit of playing time tonight. And in the backfield, you got Mateo Malbeck that's going to start for us at quarterback. Josh McClure is going to be in a tight end, H-back position. And you got seniors out on the perimeter at receiver. Chancellor Mormon, Jamelin Jones are anchoring that offensive side, and a lot of the same guys are playing on the other side. It's been a very pleasing, and it's only been a number of weeks, but it's been a good senior class leadership so far.
Any newcomers that we might expect to call their name a bunch? Anybody maybe that's flown under our radar so far that we should look out for?
Well, I think the kids coming up from the JV program are some kids that people might not hear about on their offensive line. Right off the bat, Daniel Triplett and Caleb Melton are 2 offensive linemen that are going to start for us that have had a very good fall summer camp so far. We're really excited to see what they do there. Right off the bat, offensive line-wise, they've been a big help right there.
Well, let's move on to the Chargers of Central-Lunenburg. You went up to their place last year. It was a back-and-forth battle. They pull away in the second half. You commented before the interview started. Defense wasn't really good that night. Defense is going to have to be pretty good tonight because this is a good football team again this year's version of Central-Lunenburg.
Yeah, they're probably, what we've seen on film, they look a little bit more polished, look a little better than they were last year. Last year's game was extremely sloppy. We played pretty bad, and they almost played equally as bad. It wasn't a very good football game to watch, I didn't think. but they do look improved. I think we are too. So I think we got a good matchup offensively. They're going to try to run the ball down your throat. And our philosophy this year, I don't know if it's quite run the ball down the throat, but we want to establish to run more this year and be a little bit more play action pass and not just a spread offense where we're spreading people around, throwing and running the ball. We're going to mix it up a little bit. We're going to be able to do both. But we're going to have to stay low and be physical with them defensively with their style of offense.
We've touched a little bit on the defense and a little bit on the offense. Let's wrap it up by telling us some about your special teams. You like your special teams unit so far going into week 1?
Yeah, I'll have to give you that answer after next week. The first game is always, at least for me, special teams is the unknown demon there. You don't go live during scrimmages, even in a benefit game, which we don't play. They don't go live, so you don't know exactly how it's going to be, and you try to rep things as much as you can, full speed, to see. But until it happens, that's always a guessing game. Mateo is going to punt for us this year. Nick Boley's a senior. He sat behind Walker and watched Walker last year. He's had a good summer camp, and we look forward to having a very solid kicking game, and that's even after losing an all-state type performer in Walker Allen.
Coach Sharness, always great to talk to you. We'll let you run. Best of luck here tonight. It's the Colonels and the Chargers. Kickoff in about 20 minutes on 105.5 KD Country.
Hello, this is Jerry Miley from 1433 Altavista Moose Center. It's asking everybody to come on down and join us and see what the Moose is all about to help us support our Moose Heart, Moose Haven family. Anybody's welcome to come down and take a tour of our building and see what's going on. Come on down and we'll let you in and we can have some fun. We're looking forward.
Meet Jerry and the rest of the Altavista Moose family and become a member. The Altavista Moose Family Center on Lynch Mill Road.
At English's Hardware Supply, look for the National Hardware Center. There you'll find a wide array of hardware items for your home, like storm and screen door latches and closers. National also has replacement strike plates for your storm and screen doors. For backyard security, the National Hardware Center has gate hasps, latch, and padlocks. And there's much more from National and Stanley.
English's is your complete home center.
Look for National at English's Building Supply in Altavista.
Napa know-how.
Pennzoil Platinum Synthetic Motor Oil for just $4.99 a quart at Napa is filled with super smart oil technology. But I'm not an oil scientist, so I can't explain all that. However, I am smart enough to know that grabbing Pennzoil Platinum Synthetic for only $4.99 a quart is a smart deal. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General States pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer expires 9/30/16.
Brought to you by Napa of Altavista, proud supporter of the Altavista Colonels.
Good food, low prices, and great service keep customers coming back for more day after day at El Cazador Mexican Restaurant in Altavista. El Cazador is now open all afternoon, so you can come by anytime, any day, 11 a.m. till 10 p.m. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, a great place to unwind and relax with friends. Open 7 days a week, Main Street, Altavista. El Cazador thanks you for your business.
Now back to the action with Colonel Sports on 105.5 KD Country.
Subway pregame show returns from Altavista High School. I'm Kyle Haney. He is Oscar Briggs on a very warm late summer evening. I don't know, it feels like midsummer with these temperatures, Oscar. And let's go ahead and talk about that for just a second, how it might affect the play on the field. I don't know. These teams have both been practicing in this kind of stuff. I think sometimes the fans overrate it a little bit. But you got to believe that it could have an impact later on in the game, maybe early in the game with some cramping issues, and might, the fatigue might set in a little bit earlier, for lack of a better term.
Well, certainly first game in real full game conditions, the adrenaline's flowing. We saw it last year at Lunenburg. We had the game was stopped several occasions for cramping, and got to know that trainer Angela Emerson here at Altavista has kept these kids hydrated throughout the week, knowing that it was a severe risk of that happening tonight. So We talked about the philosophies of hydration earlier,
right,
before we came on the air, and it's a fact. You've got to hydrate well before the game. You can't wait till game time and start drinking Gatorade and expect that to quench your body's desire.
Yeah, it's really got to be a week-long program, and both of these coaching staffs know that. This is not the 50s or the 60s where people would just kind of throw a salt tablet in a bucket of water and say, here, you guys are ready to go play football. No, everything is advanced now. Science has gotten so much better. But with that being said, the coaches can watch the kids at night and make sure they're drinking water. So there is still a little bit of unknown there. Some unknowns for the Altavista Colonels on offense, defense, and special teams. You heard Coach Sharness touch on some of those. Oscar, let's you and I start with the defense. A little bit of a tweak. Going to go with a 3-4 defensive alignment this year instead of their usual 3-5. Obviously, that can be adjusted. I mean, Coach Mike Revis, the defensive coordinator's got all the tools in the toolbox, and he can go to them when he wants to.
Well, he certainly is as good a defensive coordinator as there is in this part of the state, if not in the state. And as you alluded to, he's got the tools. They can go 3-4. They can slide that defender up and go 3-5 with no issue whatsoever. And just because they're going with a 3-4, we've seen them bounce around. They'll line up 4-4. They'll do different things depending on what the offense is trying to do to disrupt them.
Interestingly enough, about this Lunenburg Charger offense, we'll probably alternate between calling them Central and Central-Lunenburg and just Lunenburg, and we'll probably even screw that up some.
And
right?
The Chargers.
And the Chargers. Their offense is interesting. You know, last year in the first half, Oscar, they ran a whole lot of double tight end, double wing, fullback, power football, old school kind of stuff. And then in the second half, they spread it out, sort of threw caution to the wind, and completed a bunch of passes out of that spread. Coach Mike Sharness expects to see more spread tonight than he does tight ground and pound football.
And that's what he saw. They played a benefit game last week against Brunswick, and while they didn't do traditional kickoff and everything else was a standard game speed, and he had the game film from that, and he said that's certainly what they were inclined to do last week. Of course, that was last week, and here you are in live football, regular season, so things can change with that as well.
Chargers are coached by Will Thomas. Since 2010, they've been a very good football program, 54-21. The Altavista Colonels very good in that time frame too, 60-19. So really, you're looking at two of the premier programs in the state if you want to look at it just from a record standpoint. Oscar and I will talk more football, and we'll tell you about our Subway experience when we come back to the Subway pregame show. It's the Lunenburg Chargers and the Altavista Colonels getting ready for Week 1 of 2016 VHSL football action, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Hope you'll stick around. You've got yourself a ringside seat on 105.5 KD Country.
These members of the KD Country Sports Club are proud supporters of Colonel football.
El Cerrito in Altavista. Throw on a sombrero, shake your maracas. It's El Cerrito time. Authentic Mexican cuisine only El Cerrito can serve up.
The Medicine Shop in Altavista, your Carolina boot headquarters with all sizes and styles of Carolina boots. Get 10% off and free strings through August at the Medicine Shop.
One Stop Mart, Main Street, Altavista, where gas is cheap, beverages are cold, and the chicken is kicking.
They're doing it right at the Dairy Freeze. Burgers, fries, hot dogs, and, of course, ice cream. Dairy Freeze on Main Street.
Radio Shack and Crystal Bay Pools, Altavista, serving your area since 1989 for swimming pools installations, chemicals, liners, and more.
Brought to you by the members of the KD Country Sports Club.
PCM Industrial of Altavista offers mobile welding and repair services, fully equipped service trucks and certified craftsmen, and quick response to satisfy your needs. Contact PCM Industrial at powerconstruction.com. PCM Industrial is a fully insured Class A licensed contractor, OSHA and MSHA compliant. PCM Industrial Services of Altavista wishes Coach Sharness and the Altavista Colonels football team good luck in another winning season.
Get on the winning team and come find one of a kind. Shoppers, did you know Altavista has several unique antique stores? Check out the great selection at Mad Biddy's, 105 Wood Lane Road, or stop by Vintage on Broad to see where the American pickers have been. Try the Main Street Trading Company, offering unique home accents, jewelry, and more. An invitation from the Altavista Office of Economic Development. More information online at altavistaontrack.net.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
Pregame show returns. It's the Subway pregame show. Yes, it's all live on 105.5 KD Country. So glad you could join us on a Friday night. We'll have some updates from some other ball games. Looking forward to the main event here between the Central-Lunenburg Chargers and the Altavista Colonels. Oscar, we talked about the Altavista defense and the Central offense, so let's flip that script a little bit and talk about the Colonels offense. And I guess we need to start with the quarterback, the new quarterback, Mateo Malbach. We may put that on hold, though, as we are going to go national anthem time. So we'll step aside again for another timeout. We'll bring it back with more on the Subway pregame show. Chargers and Colonels right after this on 105.5 KD Country.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving families since 1905.
Life is full of opportunities to show someone we love them. One such opportunity is the funeral or memorial service. Finch and Finch helps you celebrate the relationships they shared and honors the memory of your loved one.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving families since 1905.
English Construction Company has been in the building business since 1909, so it's only natural that they appreciate the building process. They recognize the fact that organized sports programs build character as well as bodies and minds. They know that high school sports build our youth into more well-rounded and more productive adults. English Construction Company is proud to be a sponsor of high school sports and salute all athletes, coaches, and teachers. A word of praise and encouragement from English Construction Company with offices in Lynchburg.
GMC. Come on in and bring the family and see your friends at Highview Motors. Highview Motors, GMC. From small to tall, we've got it all. Highview Motors, GMC.
Compassionate Care Choices, Autumn Care, 24-hour skilled nursing, inpatient, outpatient, physical, occupational, and speech therapies. Autumn Care invites you to tour their facility in 2016, receiving the bronze quality by the American Healthcare Association. 5-star rating by Centers for Medicare, Medicaid Services. Autumn Care, a member of Sabre Healthcare Group, serving Altavista and surrounding areas since 1989.
Your station for high school sports play-by-play is 105.5 KD Country.
Subway pregame show returns from Altavista High School. The Chargers from Central-Lunenburg in town. What, about hour and a half, 2-hour trip, Oscar? We made the trip last year, obviously a little bit slower by bus, but it's not too far.
No, it's you're right, about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes is about right.
We were beginning to discuss the Altavista offense, some changes there personnel-wise. Mateo Malbach in as the quarterback. Last year, we'll say he started 3 games and change because he started those 2 playoff games at quarterback, one other game in the later part of the season, a regular season game, and then obviously some snaps here and there when injuries occurred. But Malbach is a senior. He knows the offense, and he's a big-time playmaker.
Well, and I think as Coach Sharness was talking about leaders stepping up, I think certainly Mateo over the summer kind of separated himself in the weight room, and he's a leader on this team, and they certainly something that was lacking from the Colonels last year.
It'll be nice to have Jonathan Montague back as a running back. He's scheduled to get the bulk of the carries, but he's not the only guy that's going to run the ball. You've got Jacob Adams, who'll be a slot receiver. They'll hand it to him on those jet sweep type of plays. Chancellor Mormon's going to be the same way. He'll get some touches. And the other running backs are available to you as well, guys like Shaheem Pennell and some other names in there as well that we're probably leaving out.
Well, Aaron Close did a lot of up back, full back, blocking back type duties last year. We don't think that Aaron's available tonight, so we won't see him. But you're right, Jonathan will get a bulk of the carries, and we've seen whether it be Mateo or previously Michi or whoever lines up in that slot with that little jet sweep that the Colonels run so often and run so well. You'll see Shaheem, Jacob chance or get the opportunity to carry the ball out of that formation.
Yeah, any spread team pretty much nowadays, those slot receivers are weapons to run the ball to, and obviously weapons to catch passes as well. And the Colonels will throw some. You heard Coach Sharnas mention that. Let's talk about the third phase of the game, special teams. They've got a senior kicker in Nick Boley, and Nick has been sort of Walker Allen's understudy for all those years, but Nick can kick, and I think the Colonel's coaching staff really feels pretty confident about him, particularly on the extra points, and perhaps if you need a late field goal to maybe tie or win a ball game.
Oh, you wax poetic. Nick can kick.
Don't think I didn't dream that up last night.
Yeah,
I was supposed to be in bed.
You've been working on that since spring. But, we watched him warm up, and from 30 yards in, he was pretty accurate, pretty consistent. You get out to the 40-yard range and not so much, but you're talking about a high school kicker, and we've talked about that before. That's a long kick, and he did nail a couple of 40-yarders. So if it comes down to that and it's late in the game, that's something that as a Colonels fan you can look forward to.
As you and I mentioned, nobody in high school is really high percentage from 40 yards out, but Nick did bang a couple through there. Mateo Malbach is scheduled to handle the punting duties. Boley can do some of that as well if necessary. And, of course, you got the holder and the long snapper and all the rest of the pieces of the special teams operation that will get the spotlight thrown on them at any given occasion throughout a night. Hey, I want to talk about something we're really passionate about, though, Oscar. Food. Let's talk about our Subway experience. I went with the new Chicken Caesar Melt, and I will tell you, it is as good as advertised. I loved every second of it. The only mistake I made was not getting, one for later on tonight, getting some for the road. What'd you go with?
Well, I went with the Happy Gilmore Classic.
Happy Gilmore Classic.
The cold cut combo.
Oh, that's great. Do we have to give Adam Sandler a percentage of our pay for that? Are there royalties involved just for saying that name? But no, and a great service up there at the Main Street location. Mike and Courtney. Yes, they're doing a fabulous job. I think they're tuned in right now. They're keeping it fun for everybody and great service, as always, at Subway of Altavista. Let's step aside for one final timeout. The team is getting ready to bust through the banner here. The Spirit line is formed down on the field. One more quick timeout. It'll be kickoff before you know it between the Chargers and the Colonels. It's week 1, game number 1 of the 2016 football season. Glad you're along for the ride on 105.5 KD Country.
Altavista High School football is brought to you by Steve Farmer Auto Sales. Steve Farmer Auto Sales, where there's always a good selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs, and they're priced right with financing available. See Steve Farmer Auto Sales, 1112 Main Street, Altavista, the next time you get ready to make a change. Steve Farmer Auto Sales, best deals on wheels.
Introducing D.L. Bryant Heating and Cooling. A name you've grown to trust, Donnie Bryant is back with D.L. Bryant Heating and Cooling. As an American Standard dealer, D.L. Bryant Heating has the tools and the talent to handle all of your heating and cooling issues, large or small. Call 841-1580. That's 841-1580 for D.L. Bryant Heating and Cooling. Call 841-1580 for a name you can trust, Donnie Bryant and D.L. Bryant Heating and Cooling.
Your station for high school sports play-by-play is 105.5 KD Country.
Back from the press box here at Altavista High School. We're getting ready to have the coin flip. While they're doing that, I'll tell you about the folks that make our game possible. It's another great list of sponsors for the 2016 campaign. We're so excited to have folks like Autumn Care of Altavista sponsoring our broadcast, specializing in 24-hour skilled nursing and physical, occupational, and speech therapies. D.L. Bryant Heating and Cooling. Call Donnie at 841-1580. That's 841-1580. Highview Motors GMC, from small to tall. Highview has it all. Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service, a family serving families since 1905. PCM Industrial Services, now with mobile welding and repair service. The Altavista Office of Economic Development, we invite you to come find one of a kind. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer, warm in the winter, and comfortable in between. The Moose Family Center. Visit the Moose Family Center today to join and be a Moose. English Construction, wishing our high school athletes an exciting and injury-free game. El Cazador, Altavista's original Mexican restaurant. Daily lunch specials available at El Cazador. Steve Farmer Auto Sales, best deals on wheels, Main Street in Altavista. Napa Auto Parts of Altavista. Find your Napa know-how on Main Street in Altavista. First National Bank, helping you bring home more bacon. English's, your complete home center, now offering a complete line of Carhartt clothing for men. We'll talk more about English's as we go on. They are our quarter sponsor for the season. So glad to have them back in that capacity. And we can't forget about Feller Chevrolet, now offering a 10-year, 100-mile powertrain warranty. They'll sponsor our YouTube rebroadcast again, where you can go back and listen to this game and pretty much any other Colonel football or basketball game from about the last 4 or 5 years. Oscar is checking out the Spirit line, the crowd getting on their feet, and it is a nice crowd. When Oscar and I started the Subway pregame show, it was still pretty thin out there. We were thinking maybe the heat was keeping some folks away, Oscar, but I think it's just a late arriving, a West Coast kind of crowd.
Well, turnout's usually light in this first game, but for tonight, the Colonel fans have done a good job coming in. So, yeah, a decent crowd tonight.
They're making noise here as the Colonels bust through the Spirit line with the fog machine and a good crowd on the field that has formed the Spirit line. I'm Kyle Haney. He is the excitable boy, the big O, Agent Zero, Oscar Briggs. Eleanor Haney and Katie are our sound engineers back at home base there at 105.5 KD Country, doing a fabulous job. And I think Eleanor says she went with the salad again this time at Subway. We'll have to correct that. Well, I did the salad thing for a while, as you recall, and after you gave me guff about it for 3 or 4 weeks, I switched and went back to the cold cut combo like you.
Yeah, and again, thanks to the sponsors that are helping bring us the game to you and bring it to your homes and cars and wherever you may be. And it's never too late to get on that list.
It's never too late.
A lot of exposure. We get out to the community, and those people that do listen, please support those sponsors and let them know you listen and appreciate what they're doing to help support the Colonel's athletic department.
Yeah, it's always nice to communicate with those sponsors how much you appreciate their support, and the best way to do that is, as our dear friend Bob Albus always said, just go in there and buy something. They'll like that best of all. Colonels will kick off to start the football game. They'll be kicking back towards Bedford Avenue. That would be the north end zone here at English Stadium. Colonels clad in the black jerseys, black pants, got the orange and white piping, black helmet with the A affixed on the sides. Chargers, not the Panthers. The Central-Lunenburg Chargers are in the road whites, white pants, got the purple and yellow trim. They've got white helmets on. This is a rematch of last year's Week 1 affair. It was a battle. Colonels fell 41-37 in what you heard Coach Mike Sharns describe as a sloppy game. Here's the run-up from Nick Boley, the Altavista kicker, and we're underway for the 2016 campaign. It's fielded by Malik Foster on the 10-yard line. He's going to cut from right to left over to the left sideline, cut down around the 32-yard line by the Colonels' coverage team. It looked like it might have been number 72, Tevin Pearman, that made first contact, and a few other Colonels followed up to finish him off.
Well, Mateo Malback did a nice job sealing the edge and was in on that tackle as well. One of the things that we talked about before we came on the air was we're so used to Walker Allen booming the ball into the end zone, and the Colonel's opponents starting the ball at the 20-yard line. A little bit different situation this year. They're going to have to stay in their lanes and cover kickoffs. Central starting from about their own 34-yard line.
It's sort of a tight shotgun package, almost a single wing type of look. Handoff play is going off right tackle. That's number 28, Deshaun Moore. He's spun around about 3 yards past the line of scrimmage by a host of Colonel defenders. Christian Gilbert was in on the stop. It looked like number 1, Jacob Adams, was around. And then number 3, Mateo Malback, getting off the bottom of the pile as well. They'll give him about 5.5 on the first down running play.
And they're back at the line of scrimmage quickly and set. Tight formation.
Yeah, it's a double tight. You got a blocking back and then a wing back. Handoff play again, this time going right up the gut. Not as much there. Stephen Farmer met the ball carrier with resistance at the line of scrimmage. They'll call this maybe a gain of 1 or perhaps not even that. They do move it up about a yard, so it'll set up our first third down situation. We'll call it 3rd and 3. 10:39 left to play in the English's, your complete home center first quarter. Oscar, still no score, opening drive of the football game.
Deshaun Moore, the ball carrier on that, his helmet came off, so he does have to come out of the game.
Yeah, that's a rule they instituted, a couple years ago. Here comes a handoff play again. Ball carrier got flushed outside, but has some room. Malback hits him at the 40-yard line, which is in the backfield. Not going to be a first down pickup there. Nice job by the Colonel's defense to swarm. The ball carrier was number 33, Malcolm Brown. I want to say it was Stephen Farmer that forced him outside by plugging the initial hole, and then the Colonel's secondary was able to race over and get the tackle.
Jake Adams over on this left side was able to seal as well, and he got just absolutely taken down from behind and held on the ground.
Great first series there from the Altavista Colonels defense. Punting formation for the Chargers.
Hey, that's a 3-and-out. We couldn't say that against Lunenburg last year.
Absolutely right. Punter is number 9, Cameron Field. He boots a high one, hangs, crosses the 50, lands on about the Altavista 36-yard line, takes a decent Charger roll, and it'll lie dead at the 29-yard line near the left hash mark. That's where the Altavista Colonels will take over on offense. 9:38 left to play in the first quarter. Still no score from English Stadium in Altavista. To your point, though, that's a nice way to open up for the Colonels defense.
It really is, and we're unable to really stop Lunenburg last year. Again, nice series. After that initial 6-yard gain, Colonel shut them down on the next ensuing 2 plays.
Shotgun formation from the left hash mark. Malback is the quarterback, calls the snap count, hands it off to Jonathan Montague. Montague's going to follow the pulling guard across the 35, now chased down at the 40-yard line. It looks like it's going to be enough for a first down pickup on the opening play from scrimmage for the Altavista Colonels. We'll call it an 11-yard gain for number 2, the junior Jonathan Montague.
And Jonathan's not going to run away from anybody. I mean, he's not going to outspeed you. But he is a strong kid, and it's obvious he spent time in the weight room over the summer as well.
Montague listed at 205 pounds. I'd say most of that is solid muscle. He's in the backfield again. They rotate the blocking back to the right. They give it to Montague. This time he's hit at the line of scrimmage, pulls some defenders with him across the 42-yard line, now down on the 43-yard line. Solid pickup. Nice defense by Central-Lunenburg to get hands on him early. It was number 80, the big man Raymond Alexander. Expect to hear that name quite a bit on the defensive side of the ball for Central-Lunenburg.
It was still a decent surge by that offensive line with Farmer, Triplett, Dylan Herring, and Melton Caleb up front. Nice little push, picked up 3 yards.
Farmer's in there at the left guard spot. They ran behind him those first 2 times. They'll put Chancellor Mormon in motion from right to left. They hand it to Christian Gilbert. Gilbert racing up the gut through the defense across the 50-yard line into Charger territory. Dropped around the 48-yard line for another Altavista Colonel first down.
And Gilbert's got a little bit more speed than what Montague has. And if you hadn't heard the name, he did get pulled up at the end of the year last year, but he was a standout on the JVs. Very successful JV team last year.
Christian Gilbert's going to play some backup quarterback, too, if needed. He's a guy that can do many things. Traquan Farmer in there as the blocking back. Colonels have a 1st and 10 from the middle of the field, 48-yard line. Movement up front by the Colonels offense. It's going to be an illegal procedure false start. This will back them up 5 yards. Oscar, go ahead. No, you. I want you to go.
Well, Jacob Adams saw something. He was in Usain Bolt territory. He was ready to go.
I wonder if it was a passing play and maybe Jacob was the intended target.
He was excited.
1st and 15 for the Altavista Colonels. First time they've lost yardage here on this opening drive. Still no score. 8:04 left to play in the English's first quarter. Malback mishandled the snap and just falls on it, and that's a wise play right there. Sometimes you'd love to scoop it up and try and make something out of nothing, but he falls down, crawls into the fetal position on the 42-yard line. Colonels back in their own territory now. It's going to set up 2nd and we'll call it 20.
That was a heady play. The snap wasn't that bad. He took his eyes off of it and just mishandled it, but did a nice job falling on it to make sure that the Colonels maintained possession.
Dylan Herring is at the center spot right now, and you're right, the snap wasn't that bad, just slightly mishandled. Here comes the 2nd and long play. They'll wing it out to Adams. Adams catches on the 40-yard line, makes the first defender miss. He's across the 50, slung out of bounds with a defender on his back. That's number 35, Tyler Williams, in on the tackle there. And a nice pickup on 2nd down to get bulk of that yardage back. It looks like it'll be 3rd and 9, Oscar, from the 46-yard line left hash mark.
And that was all Jake Adams because he had nobody out blocking for him, and there were 5 defenders from Lunenburg there. So nice athletic play by Jake to get him back to 3rd and 9.
Colonel's working right to left from our perspective, back towards the north end zone. Everybody making sure they've got the play call right. Malback barking out the snap counts. 2 receivers right, 1 left. That's Adam the lone wide out here to the left. Running play. They hand it to Gilbert. Gilbert stuffed at the 45. He did manage to make 1 or 2 yards out of it, but there was no hole. He just tried to run through big Raymond Alexander. That's not going to happen very often.
Christopher Fowler there for Central-Lunenburg met him in the hole and just absolutely obliterated that play.
Clock turning with 6:23 left to play in the Englishes. Your complete home center. First quarter, still no score. That was the Colonel's opening drive. Started promising. had an illegal procedure penalty that set them back 5 yards, and then a mishandled snap that caused them to lose about 5 or 6 more. It's a punting formation. Officials have stopped the clock with 6:09 left to play. It's a timeout by the Lunenburg Chargers. We'll take the timeout with them. Our score, 0-0. You're listening to Colonel's Football on 105.5 KD Country.
How do we make a better sandwich at Subway? Our new Chicken Caesar Melt is a great example. We start with tender rotisserie-style chicken that's raised without antibiotics. Top it with a savory Caesar sauce and add melted provolone and a sprinkle of Parmesan cheese for a flavor that's so deliciously unique, it redefines what a better sandwich should taste like. The all-new Chicken Caesar Melt from Subway. Limited time only.
Your station for high school sports play-by-play is 105.5 KD Country.
Our 54th consecutive season of award-winning high school sports, Oscar, and why would we stop the shout-outs now? I know you've probably got a few in the bag that you want to send out there, but we've got people listening all over thanks to KDCountry.com. They're listening in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. They're listening in all these colleges and universities everywhere that these former colonels go to. Deja Berger, our dear friend, wanted to send out a good luck to not only the football team, but the volleyball team, too. Deja's up there at JMU, and I'm sure things are exciting in Harrisonburg on a Friday night. You were in college once. You remember those days,
That's right. I was talking to Deja's dad just today, as a matter of fact, and he was talking about the experience of moving her in. So,
isn't that a wonderful experience in the summer heat, moving a bunch of heavy objects? Clock started, and I think they're going to put some time back on it. Clock had stopped because of the timeout. The official's going to go over and talk to the sideline, and they'll radio back up. It is a punting formation here on 4th and 7. Colonels are in Lunenburg field territory, Oscar. What do you make of the decision to punt here? I mean, I don't think you could really fault Coach Sharness if he wanted to go for it here early in the fourth quarter, but I don't think you can fault him for punting either.
No, it's the right call after a 35-yard drive, and especially the way the defense played on that first opening drive. I think it's the right call.
It's in that in-between zone. Nice snap back to Malback. He moves one step to his left to get it. It's a high-hanging kick, not a real long one, but it's going to end up being pretty good. Lands on the 17 and takes an immediate left out of bounds. It will go out around the 19-yard line. Good coverage by the Altavista punting team, and the height of the punt really allowed them to get down there. No chance for a return for Lunenburg. They'll start this drive on their own 19. 5:57 left to play in the first quarter. Our first glimpse there at the Altavista Colonels punting unit. I think you can say that they passed that test successfully. Let's see what the defense will do on their second test of the ball game.
I think for some momentum, they could get another 3 and out. Obviously, that would be huge. Interesting to see how Lunenburg lines up. They're in that tight formation again, Kyle.
Quarterback is Jackie Dalton III. He's got Deshaun Moore right beside him. He'll hand it to him. Moore's going to try off the right side. He made the initial hitter from Altavista miss, but he couldn't make Traquan Farmer miss. Nice tackle there by 34. He had some help. Call it a 3-yard pickup for Moore and the Lunenburg Chargers. It'll bring up 2nd and 7. 5:40 left to play in the first quarter. Still no score.
And Colonels need to be careful here as they're running that wing. Central-Lunenburg will throw the ball over the top. We saw that often last year.
It's a balanced shotgun formation, 2 tight ends to either side. They'll throw. They got Alexander over the middle. Nice catch there by the big man. He's slung down with a waist tackle from Mateo Malback at the 40-yard line, right on cue. You called it. You got to watch out for the pass. Are you in Lunenburg's headset down there or something? No, good call by you, though, in all seriousness, Mr. Briggs.
It was that little slant, really. It wasn't anything elaborate. It was just a straight drop and a slant across the middle, and it was behind the linebackers in front of the corners and safety. Nice play by Lunenburg.
Here's the snap to Dalton the 30. Hands off to Moore again. Adams got dropped to the ground and tried to make a tackle from down there. Couldn't, but he did slow him down a little bit. Run out of bounds around the 49-yard line by Stephen Farmer, Josh McClure, and Jonathan Montague. 5:12 left to play in the first quarter. Still no score. They'll call it a 4.5-yard pickup on first down for the Chargers.
And Chargers are wasting, again, no time in between plays. Very high pace for Central-Lunenburg.
It's a no-huddle offense. Everybody's got the wristbands on. Here's the shotgun snap. Painter fakes the handoff, spins, rolls to his left. Passing play, left-handed thrower, looking for Alexander again. It hit Alexander's hands, but not in a very catchable spot, and it falls incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd
Boy, Colonel's got a big break on that because that play was executed extremely well by Central-Lunenburg, and it had Raymond Alexander one-on-one with Luke Dillard, who is 6'5", 330, and that's not a good matchup for the Colonels.
Shotgun formation again. Dalton, the third, calls for the snap count. They pull everybody right and hand it off to Moore. Moore sifting his way through the defense and his own blockers. He's short of first down yardage on the running play. Looks like he got it to the 48 or 49-yard line. They needed to get to the Colonel's 49-yard line. That's exactly where it stands. So it's 4th and 2. 4th and 2 with 4:42 left to play in the first. It looks like Central-Lunenburg, all intentions are to go for this, OB.
And he's 5'7", 156. He is hard to pick up in that backfield.
Sure is. Here comes the shotgun snap. They go with the long snap count. Dalton barking out signals. They're trying to get the Colonels to jump offside.
Nice
now
job.
They're going to burn
Nice
time
job.
off. Timeout. Pardon me. It was a nice job by the Colonels defense to stay put. We'll take the timeout with the Chargers. No score. 4:25 left to play here between Altavista and Lunenburg in the first quarter on 105.5 KD Country.
With an exciting new offer from Feller Chevrolet. Purchase any new or used vehicle of Feller's and receive a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty and a 3-day, 100% money-back guarantee. Again, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty and a 3-day money-back guarantee. At Feller Chevrolet, we stand behind what we sell, and we save you money. Come see us. You'll be glad you did.
A short drive will save you money. Feller Chevrolet in Altavista.
Your station for high school sports play-by-play is 105.5 KD Country.
4th and 2 coming up for the Chargers. The Altavista defense holds again. It's another third down stop for them. Lunenburg 0 for 2 so far on third downs. They're in a punting formation. Snap is back. Colonels have 2 return men deep. It's Maulback and Gilbert. Gilbert fields on the 21, starts left, trying to run out of a jersey tackle, and then the rest of the defense follows up from Lunenburg. Did pick up 3 yards on the punt return.
Nice job by Gilbert catching that ball in traffic.
Yeah, really just to hold on to that is the key thing there. The yardage is a bonus.
That's right. He didn't pick up but a couple after the catch, but he could have saved 15 on a roll, too.
That's what I was just going to say. If that ball hits the turf, it's probably going to go scooting backwards towards the Colonel's end zone. Colonels will start on their own 24-yard line. And speaking of the turf here, Oscar, it's in fabulous shape. The Bermuda grass is thriving in these hot weather conditions, and we've had enough rain to let it just grow like crazy. Shotgun formation, 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, 1 tight end to the right. The handoff to Jonathan Montague. Montague with a decent amount of yardage churning up the middle. Went behind right guard that time and stopped around the 28-yard line, left hash mark for the Colonels, near their bench.
Well, he just pushed the pile. I mean, there wasn't a big hole, and he just drove into the pile and continued to drive his legs.
Ran behind center. Dylan Herring might have favored that right side just a little bit. Blocking back in the backfield with Maulback and Montague is Josh McClure. Movement up front. Flag comes out. This play is going to get blown dead. This is going to be against the Colonels. Left tackle looked like he just sort of fell out of his stance there. And it's going to be 5 yards against Altavista the wrong way. It'll make it 2nd and we'll call it 11 after the ball is spotted. 3:36 left to play in the first, Oscar. No score here from English Stadium.
Second drive for the Colonels, and that's the second penalty that the Colonels have had. Both of them motion. False start.
Certainly not something that would be a complete surprise in the first ball game of the year. You know you're going to have a few of those, but it's never anything you like to see. Shaheem Pinnell in the backfield now. They'll give it to him. He ran into some stiff resistance at the line of scrimmage. Might have fallen forward for a yard, but not much else. It's going to bring up 3rd and 10 for the Altavista Colonels. Clock continues to turn. 3:05 left to play here in the Englishes. Your complete home center, first quarter. No score between the visiting Chargers and the home Altavista Colonels. Colonels look left to the sideline to get the play signaled in from the coaching staff. Think you're dialing up a pass here, OB?
Well, I think so. We talked about the stable of running backs that we have, and certainly Shaheem is probably the fastest of the bunch. But look for Jake Adams or Chancellor Mormon on this play.
Shaheem Pinnell's in the backfield. Traquan Farmer in there as a blocking back. Movement up front again. It looks like a flag comes out. Let's see what the signal is, and yes, they'll call it a false start again on the Altavista Colonels. It'll back them up 5 more yards. That makes it 3rd and 15 now. Certainly doesn't make the prospects of picking up a first down any easier.
No, Mateo was questioning where the movement was. I don't know that he got an answer.
In high school, you might not get an answer too often. If you're Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, the referee will tell you exactly what you want to hear, right?
Sure.
Mateo Malbeck is the quarterback, the senior quarterback for the Altavista Colonels. He gets a chest-high snap, hands it off to Pinnell. Pinnell's got some room, breaking free across the 25, slung down there. Nice tackle in the secondary by number 13. That is Darrell Jones to save a possible first down. Pinnell picks up about 8 or 9 on the carry, but they're still a full 5 yards short, and it'll bring up 4th and 5.
And that was a nice play that highlights that acceleration that we know Shaheem has. You had him on the baseball team, so you know.
Yeah, it was a little bit of misdirection there on the carry. You can't do that in the outfield. You just have to just break right for the ball. But it did work out well. It's just the Colonels with the penalties set them back too far. Altavista's going to burn a timeout. They don't have all the punt team personnel out there. Wise decision by Christian Gilbert to see that and call a timeout. We'll take the timeout with them. 1:39 left to play in the English's first quarter. Central-Lunenburg 0, Altavista 0 on 105.5 KD Country.
If credit card processing is important to your business, I can help. I'm Ramonda Davis of First National Bank, and I'm your local e-commerce officer for merchant card and other electronic business products. Local means I live in Central Virginia. I'm ready to come see you and respond quickly to what you need. Local means I'm focused just on your business needs. For the latest in electronic payment technology and competitive pricing, contact me, Ramonda Davis. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Your station for high school sports play-by-play is 105.5 KD Country.
Colonels set up in the punt formation on 4th and 5. They're in their own territory on their own 29-yard line. 1:39 left to play in the first quarter. On a warm Friday night in Altavista. Glad you're joining us wherever you're at. If you're listening on 105.5, kdcountry.com, or perhaps on your smartphone with the TuneIn app. Nice snap back to Malbeck. Another high kick, sort of came off his foot to the left and went out of bounds exactly at the 50-yard line. So maybe not exactly the yardage you want, but no return, and it gives the defense a chance to set up here with 1:32 remaining in the first quarter. Oscar, we have a moment. Let's talk about the Carhartt end-of-season sale at English's. You know, I mentioned this to you and Bob around Christmas time last year. I told you my size and everything and what kind of Carhartt stuff I was into. I didn't get anything. Now's your chance, because the end-of-season sale is on at English's, and they've got some great deals on Carhartt stuff.
What time they open in the morning?
Saturday mornings, I think they open at 10, but don't quote me on that. Let me try and find out.
It's earlier than that.
Is it earlier? Good.
Oh, yeah.
I like how you're thinking, though. Handoff play on first down for the Chargers. This is Moore again. He's hit at the 46-yard line, thrown backwards by Stephen Farmer, Traquan Farmer, and Mateo Malbeck. Good job by those two guys to gang up on Deshaun Moore. He did pick up 5 on the forward progress.
Well, he's a shifty little running back. Reminds me of Joe Morris that played for the Giants for so many years. Just small, shifty, hard to pick up out of that wing.
You and I thought we might see senior Malik Foster a little bit more, number 17. He was an explosive back in last year's game. But so far, it's been a lot of Deshaun Moore. High snap. They're going to toss it out to Moore to the left. He's racing to his own sideline. Now turns it back in. Hit hard around the 40-yard line, which was the yard to gain for a fresh set of downs. Again, it's Traquan Farmer. Stephen Farmer was around, and maybe, as we'll point out a few times this year, we should note they're not brothers. Same last name, but no relation between Stephen Farmer and Traquan Farmer. But they're both very good linebackers for the Colonels, so you're going to hear those names a lot.
Nice play, a little quick pitch by Lunenburg. Nobody out. Nice job of sealing the edge for Lunenburg and allowing him to pick up the first down.
The fact that the snap was just a tad high really helped. Might have been some movement up front from Lunenburg's O-line. No flags, though, no whistles. More bouncing, pinballing off defenders. Thrown forward to the 36-yard line for a 4-yard gain. Jacob Adams will get credit for the tackle. There were some other black jerseys around.
Well, it certainly looked like there was some movement up front, and it was some of that movement was a visual acuity as well, because Jackie Dalton was coming towards the line when he caught the ball from center.
Yeah, it did look like the play hit quick. There might have been some movement. They'll pull some linemen to the right. Moore follows him in the hole. He hits McClure and throws McClure backwards around the first down marker, which is at the 30-yard line. Couple Colonels getting up slow off the pile. Matt Aiken was in on the tackle as well. It's enough for the necessary yardage. It'll be a fresh set of downs for Central-Lunenburg. They keep the sticks moving with no time left on the clock in the first quarter. We've played one here from Altavista. The teams will switch sides with no score. We'll take a quick timeout, then back with more Colonel football on 105.5 KD Country.
It's cold in here. Will your heating system keep you warm this winter, or will you spend a cold evening shivering under the covers? Have your heating system inspected today by Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling. Kent Tyree has over 20 years experience and specializes in heating, air, plumbing, and electrical. Licensed and bonded. Call for an appointment today. 309-2266. 309-2266. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling.
More live high school sports action on 105.5 KD Country.
As the sun settles down behind the trees a little bit, maybe the temperature will cool off some. The action on the field has been hot, fast, and furious. Still no score, though, between the Chargers of Central-Lunenburg and the host Altavista Colonels. I'm Kyle Haney. He's Oscar Briggs. We're getting ready to start the Englishes, your complete home center. Second quarter. OB, initial thoughts on the opening quarter of the season?
Not unusual for a first quarter of the first game of the year, a little trying to fill each other out. And here on this last drive, Lunenburg really they started off with 2 running plays and then a pass, and then they've really established a little bit of dominance on the front end, on the front line, and are picking up about 3 to 4 yards a carry. So the Colonels are going to have to bow up here. We did notice they threw some fresh bodies in at the end of that before the next play, and then the quarter ended. So look for the Colonels to, in classic Colonel form, bend but not break.
Sure. Both teams are running the football well. Both teams are 0 for 2 on third down situations so far tonight, and some penalties have hurt some of the Altavista Colonels' progress on offense. And certainly the Lunenburg defense has to get some credit for doing a little bit of bend but don't break of their own. They're on offense now, though, with a fresh set of downs within striking distance of the Altavista end zone, too. Teams have switched fields. Lunenburg going right to left from our perspective here in the press box. Chargers taking a little bit of time getting going here after the quarter break, and the referees are, I guess, giving them a little bit of leeway. But
well, they had huddled up on their side on their own 30, and Jackie Dalton, the quarterback, actually left his mouthpiece down on the field and had to go retrieve it. They're going to get a delay of game penalty called against them, which is awful coming out of the quarter.
Yeah,
it's inexcusable.
Yeah, it's a mistake you never want to make, and I was sensing it in my head there that, boy, this is taking a while. And I think the officials did give them a little bit of leeway, but eventually a referee can only look down at his watch so many times.
And they've already used 2 timeouts.
They have. So it'll be 1st and 15 now. A little bit of help there for the Colonels' defense. Dalton the third calling out the snap count. Handoff play again going right. Colonels swarm all over him at the line of scrimmage. Let's count out everybody that was in on that. Lawrence Galliard, Jacob Adams, Jonathan Montague, and then big number 76, Luke Dillard, the 6'5", 330-pounder for the Colonels, came off the bottom of the pile.
Ethan Young was in the bottom of that pile as well, Kyle. He made contact early.
2nd and 15, 11:35 left to play in the second quarter. No score from Altavista High School. Chargers football, moving right to left. They hand it off to Moore again. This time more room, and now he's breaking free across the 20. Great job to run him down by Jamelin Jones. Jamelin Jones with a diving shoestring tackle at the 12-yard line to prevent points. That was just a massive gaping hole on the right side of the Colonels' defense that time.
Absolutely, and I think Moore actually was surprised that he got run down from behind. I don't think he knew that Jones was in that close of proximity to him.
Give Jamelin Jones a lot of credit for hustling and making the tackle there. 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line, we'll call it. Same play, going right again. Tries to cut back up the middle. Meets a big mass of Colonel bodies down there. So many guys in such a small space, hard to really identify who made the tackle. Just give it credit to the entire team. It is a 2-yard pickup for Deshaun Moore, the senior running back. He's 5'7", 156 pounds, Oscar. He runs the ball like he's much bigger than that, and he's got speed, too. Same shotgun formation, a tight end on each side, wing back to the right. Moore's going to start right and then cut it back. He's racing for pay dirt. This time Jones can't bring him down, and it's a touchdown for Deshaun Moore, number 28 for the Central-Lunenburg Chargers. They go up 6-0 on a nice drive that featured hard running from Deshaun Moore, the senior running back.
Boy, he went into the middle of that crowd and bounced it to the outside, and the Colonels had converged in the center of the field, and there was nobody on the outside to contain him, and he just kind of trotted into the end zone.
They really sold out to the point of attack there, and Moore sensed it. A nice cutback there showing great discipline and some creativity, too, to shift the play around. Here comes the extra point attempt from number 12, Benjamin Atkins. He bangs that one through. It's a 7-0 Charger lead. Altavista gets the football back with 10:35 remaining in the half when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
Hello, this is Jerry Motley from 1433 Altavista Moose Center. It's asking everybody to come on down and join us and see what the Moose is all about to help us support our Moose Heart, Moose Haven family. Anybody's welcome to come down and take a tour of our building and see what's going on. Come on down and we'll let you in and we can have some fun. We're looking forward.
Meet Jerry and the rest of the Altavista Moose family and become a member. The Altavista Moose Family Center on Lynch Mill Road.
More live high school sports action on 105.5 KD Country.
Chargers with an efficient drive to score early in the second quarter. 10:35 left to play in the half. It's a 7-0 Lunenburg lead.
Well, that drive started at the 50-yard line off of a 15-yard punt from Mateo. So they had great field position and took advantage of that field position.
Yeah, 50-yard drive, and you're right, it did come off the indifferent punt, we'll call it, from Mateo Malback. And maybe you got to give the Lunenburg defense credit for shutting down Altavista deep in their territory and forcing that punt. They'll kick off. It's Benjamin Atkins to do the honors. Colonels will get to receive their first kickoff of the 2016 season. It looks like back deep, number 1, Jacob Adams, and receiving it, Christian Gilbert, number 10. No, that's Jamellen Jones. Jones starts down the left hash mark, now cuts it outside. He's thrown down across the 25-yard line in between the numbers and the sideline. Decent return there from Jamellen Jones. He gets his team out to the 27-yard line. Colonels will start on the right hash mark, working left to right this quarter, back to the south end zone.
You know, Colonels have touched the ball, had 2 possessions, and they've had 3 penalties during those 2 possessions. I think here, for them to be successful, they've got to eliminate those motion penalties and execute. And I think they're fine. Certainly not panic time, trailing 7-0 with 10 minutes here in the second quarter.
Yeah, let's see if the Colonels open up the playbook a little bit. They've got trips receivers to the left side. That's the wide side of the field. Malback waiting for his offense to get set and the referees to put the ball in play. Montague is beside him to the left. They'll put Traquan Farmer in motion. He slides in. Quarterback keeper here. Mateo makes the first guy miss. Can't make Raymond Alexander miss. He's thrown forward across the 35-yard line. Nice pickup on first down, though, and the quarterback keeper for Mateo Malback. A well-designed play to slide Traquan Farmer back to the interior of the line in motion. He just became sort of a lead blocker.
Yeah, I like the play, and certainly it was executed well. Anytime you get the ball in Mateo's hand and give him the opportunity to advance the ball, especially with that defense spread out like it was, great play, great execution in the design of that play.
And they did open up the playbook a bit there. First time we've seen Malback run the ball. Looks over the defense, got 3 receivers to the left. Again, that's the wide side. This time a handoff to Jonathan Montague, lowers the shoulder at the 36-yard line. Slugged down around the 40-yard line. Hard running up the middle. It's enough for an Altavista first down.
Well, Jonathan just punishes.
He does.
When he lowers that shoulder, and he absolutely just punishes when you make contact with him.
I think you made a great point. He's not going to run away from a lot of people. He has enough speed to keep you honest.
Right.
But he's not a speed back. He's a power back. Only listed at 205. Seems bigger than that out there, doesn't he? He's set up right behind Mateo Malback. Now he'll shift to the left. 3 receivers to the left again, 1 wide receiver to the right. 9:27 left to play in the second quarter. It's a 7-0 deficit for the Colonels. They swing it out to Chancellor Mormon. He catches around the 40-yard line, tries to turn it upfield, meets a big swarm of Lunenburg bodies, not going anywhere. They'll probably give him forward progress back to the line of scrimmage, the 40-yard line. They may even say he lost 1.5 yards or so.
That play was slow to develop. It's meant to be a quick hitting play, and Chancellor's got to pick a hole and go, and he started to kind of dance around and couldn't figure out which way he was going, and that gave the Lunenburg secondary time to react and get in position to make that stop on that play.
Brings up 2nd and 10. They do mark it back at the line of scrimmage. It looked like they moved the stick back for a moment. They're on the far hash mark now. That's the left side from Oscar and I's perspective. Colonels in the home, black jerseys and black pants. Malback's going to put Mormon in motion. They fake it to Gilbert. Malback now breaking free. There's a stiff arm and a sidestep. He is hit hard at the 44. Manages to get to the 45-yard line. Run down by number 5, Ben Spencer, and also number 24, John McGrath.
Nice stiff arm that allowed him to pick up the 5 yards or 4 yards he did, Kyle.
Sets up 3rd and 5. Good hard running there from Mateo Malback. See what the Colonels dial up here on this 3rd down situation. They're 0 for 2 so far on 3rd down conversion tries. 8:17 left to play in the half. It's a 7-0 Charger advantage. Malback's got the offense set, looks over the defense. 3 down linemen and then 2 outside linebackers or maybe defensive ends for Lunenburg. Option play. They pitch it to Mormon. Mormon's got some room on the outside. Turns it up at the 50. Tries to make a man miss at the 46. It's more than enough for the 1st down. Good job on the option play, Oscar. And, boy, I was just going to tell you, we had not seen an option play yet, and it was well designed. The pitch from Malback right on target, hit Mormon in stride, and he got off to the races.
Nice job by Jake McClure out on the edge. Or Josh, either one. Sorry about that, Josh.
Well, Jake might be listening. We'll give a shout-out to
Josh was in that H-back position and was really the one that cemented that edge.
It was a nice block. He's shifting over to the left now in motion on 1st and 10. He'll swing back to the right. They hand it to Jonathan Montague. Montague tried to slip through the initial defensive line contact. Again, it was big Raymond Alexander that helped bring him down. 2.5-yard pickup, though, for number 2, the junior running back, Jonathan Montague. Of course, Montague, a relatively famous brother, too. Donnie, he's probably listening.
He was a pretty dedicated listener last year.
2nd and 8 coming up for the Colonels. Middle of the field. They're into Charger territory on the 42-yard line. They trail 7-0. 7:02 left to play in the half. Offensive line checks back with Malback to see that they're in the right place, and they've got the play call. Pass fake there from Malback. Now he wants to throw deep. Slings it out to the near sideline. Caught by Adams at the 19. Jacob Adams making a couple guys miss. Sort of a circus act there at the 20-yard line, then goes down at the 18. Nice job to go up and get it by Jacob Adams on a ball that was slightly underthrown.
Boy, Jake on that route did a fabulous job of a stop and go. He absolutely just juked that corner. He froze him and got behind him, and I think Mateo's eyes got a little bit big and he underthrew him. Nice job by Jake getting back and picking up the ball and advancing it even after the catch. Great play, nice design, great execution from the Colonels.
Colonels will set up shop on the 19-yard line. Handoff play goes to Gilbert. Gilbert's across the 15 quickly. Hit hard at the 12, falls forward to the 10. Nice pickup on 1st down for the Altavista Colonels. Now the offense seems to be getting in gear and hitting on all cylinders.
Boy, outstanding response to Central-Lunenburg's punching the ball in for a touchdown. The Colonels have really come back and showed some purpose in this drive. Christian Gilbert with a big hole.
Big gaping hole touchdown, Gilbert. Wow, that was almost too easy there. Back-to-back runs from Christian Gilbert. Get him in the end zone. Set up from the long pass play. Malback to Adams. And all of a sudden the Colonels are within an extra point of tying things up.
Boy, what a response. It was Chancellor Mormon, it was Christian Gilbert, it was Jonathan Montague, it was Mateo Malback. The whole stable of backs got showcased on that drive. That bodes well for the Colonels.
Excellent stuff for Altavista. Great way to answer. I mean, you took the words out of my mouth there. Lunenburg scores. You turned right around and score on your next chance. Call it a 74-yard drive for the Altavista Colonels. Snap back. Adams holds and Boley boots it through, so we're tied 7-7. Lunenburg football with 6:13 in the half left to go when you return to 105.5 KD Country.
National Hardware is heavy-duty, durable, and practical. English's Building Supply has a broad selection of National Hardware products. Shelf brackets, hinges, angle brackets, screw eyes, hooks, turnbuckles, whatever your hardware needs, National is the name and English's is the place. For hardware at its best, shop English's Building Supply.
English's is your complete home center.
North Main Street in Altavista.
More live high school sports action on 105.5 KD Country.
Tied up 7-7 from English Stadium. The host Colonels answer a Central-Lunenburg score with a score of their own, an 11-yard touchdown run by the junior Christian Gilbert. Pardon me, the sophomore Christian Gilbert.
And, I said it showcased the stable of running backs. It also showcased that offensive line. They did an outstanding job of creating those holes and opening up the defense to allow those running backs to get through those holes and go downfield.
Certainly got to give a lot of credit to the offensive line. Nice blocking from some receivers and some running backs, too. I think about the big block Traquan Farmer had. McClure had the nice block on third down to keep the drive going. The nice reception from Jacob Adams, a 27-yard pass and catch from Malback to Adams. It was really a team drive in a lot of respects. And a methodical type of drive. We think back to the Thornhill days when those 1- and 2-play drives. I mean, that was a very complete, well-put-together drive for the Colonels there.
Yeah, we didn't get to see many of those drives back in those two state championship years. It was they were 2- and 3-play drives.
It was more of a drag race. This was this was an IndyCar race. This had some drama to it.
It was a tractor pull.
There's a couple great tractor pulls coming up. One going on right now. Are we going to be able to hear the tractors from here?
If we didn't have headsets on, I promise you could hear it.
I think we could hear them down there at McCormick's Riverside Arena in Hurt. They'll be doing that tomorrow night, too, if you're a tractor pull fan. Truck and tractor pull, we should point out. Colonel's taking a while to get out of their huddle here and get back on the field to kick this ball off. Referees giving them a little bit of leeway as well. They toss the ball over to Nicholas Boley, who will put it on the kicking tee. Back deep to return for the Chargers. It looks like number 33, Malcolm Brown. And then on the far side, it's number 28, Deshaun Moore, the man with the touchdown for the Chargers. I'm Kyle Haney. He's Oscar Briggs. It's 105.5 KD Country, our 54th season of broadcasting high school sports.
Appomattox County opened up right where they left off. Leading Buckingham 23-6 in the first quarter.
We'll get you some more scores and updates. No, there's a lot of other games that you're interested in. We're interested, too. Here comes a run-up from Boley. This one's a line drive kick. It'll land on the 13-yard line. One hops into Moore's hands. He's going to take it to the middle of the field. Darts left and now cuts it back up the left hash mark. Hit hard around the 21-yard line. Number 72, Tevin Pierman, another special team stop there. Looked like Jonathan Montague was also in there, and Chancellor Mormon as well.
On cue,
you
asked if you could hear the tractor pulls.
Nice. You should go down there and do play-by-play for that when we get done here.
300 feet, full pull. I got it.
You've got the terminology down already. It's perfect. I'll do that. Well, maybe you should do the color, actually, if you know stuff about it. 6:06 left to play. We're already having fun. Normally we wait until like game 3 or 4 till we start goofing off, right?
That's right.
6:06 left to play in the English's Your Complete Home Center. Second quarter. Subway halftime show will follow this. One wide out this time for Central-Lunenburg. Nobody in the backfield. It looks like number 17, Malik Foster, in there. He'll take the direct snap himself, scampering across the 20, now the 25, the 30. Football looked like he was about to come out as he was dropped to the turf around the 34-yard line. He signals for a first down. Looks like he's probably going to have enough. Maybe might depend on the spot. Needed to get to the 33-yard line. They will move the sticks with 5:56 left to play in the half.
And Malik Foster, another one of those little small, 5'7", 150 pounds. Again, we saw him. He was a force last year. Nice opening play for him.
He was impressive last year. I'm sort of surprised it's taken this long to see him. He's back there at the quarterback spot again. He'll follow two pulling linemen right. This time he's going to string it out. Farmer's going to run him down, though. Nice job, and they're going to get him on a horse collar tackle or perhaps a face mask. And then, now all of a sudden a hat gets thrown to signal that there's another penalty.
Yeah, you might see 30 yards against the Colonels on this.
Oh, boy. It was an excellent play by number 52, Stephen Farmer, to race out there and take a great angle and cut down Malik Foster. Just maybe got him up a little bit too high on the tackle. I mean, in a foot race, Foster is going to beat Farmer, 10 times out of 10?
10 out of 10.
I mean, maybe 9 times out of 10. Maybe Malik Foster gets a bad start one time.
No, 10 out of 10.
But Stephen Farmer, the outstanding linebacker for the Colonels, took a great angle to catch him as he tried to turn it upfield. Officials are spending some time in a huddle talking this thing over. I think you're right. There's going to be an initial penalty against the Colonels and then perhaps a second one. Personal foul, horse collar tackle is the first one, and then an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Central-Lunenburg. So it looks like they're going to step off the yardage against Altavista and then maybe come back and step off more against Lunenburg. We'll see. Really? Yep, that's exactly what they're doing. The referee ran up 15 yards. Now he's going to run back 15 yards.
He didn't get his exercise this morning.
No, they're going to it's okay. It's pretty much an offsetting penalty. The ball is going to go back to the line of scrimmage, which is pretty much where we thought the tackle happened.
I don't know that I've seen him do that before.
I don't know that I've seen him do that either. If they're both 15-yard penalties, I mean, anyway. Let's move on to 1st and 10. It's a redo, boys. Here's the snap back to Foster. He hands off to number 28, Deshaun Moore, on sort of an inside reverse play that was well diagnosed by the Colonel's defense. They stop him for no gain. Adams and Gilbert combining to make the tackle.
Boy, we've called Jake Adams a lot. He's really doing a nice job at that linebacker position, sealing that edge and stopping and getting in the gap.
5 minutes even left to play. Our tag team sound engineers, Eleanor and Katie, are trading off on the duties. Katie is an Altavista graduate, Oscar, so she's rooting hard for the Colonels here. Some motion in the backfield. Malik Foster is going to run to the left. The motion didn't work out as designed, and the Colonels' defense had no problem snuffing it out. Jamellen Jones with the stop at the 31-yard line. Stephen Farmer was in close pursuit. He really wasn't even needed, though. This is going to set up 3rd and 12 now on what ended up looking like a busted play, Oscar.
Yeah, Jamellen Jones has done a good job tonight. We didn't call him a lot didn't call his name a lot last year, kind of in the background. He had a couple of good games, but nothing outstanding. Very, very solid performance tonight.
3rd and 12. Clock turns with 4:14 left to play. 7-7 is our score. Here comes Jackie Dalton Jr. back in at the quarterback spot. He'll hand off to Deshaun Moore. Moore's got some room on the right side, turns it up, now hit hard around the original line of scrimmage. Called a 2-yard gain as he tried to cut it up the alleyway there. And the big man, Luke Dillard, was in his way, along with number 7, Lawrence Galliard, number 55, Ethan Young, and a few other Colonels were on scene as well. It'll bring up 4th and 10 for Lunenburg. Looks like they're going to have to punt the ball back to the Colonels with 3:40 left to play in the half.
Substitution at quarterback was due to Malik Foster, who limped off the field. Pretty severe limp getting off the field.
It looks to be number 3, Mateo Malback, and number 10, Christian Gilbert, back deep to return the punt. Malback is on the 35-yard line. Gilbert's going to get his hands on it, though, more like around the 33-yard line. Starts left, turns back to the right, has to run through Mateo Malback, and now he's got some green space to run. A right-handed stiff arm's got him free along the far sideline, now spun out of bounds around the 33. Nice return from Christian Gilbert, and the Colonels in business with 3:10 left to play in the half.
Were it not for Kester Long, number 67 for Central-Lunenburg, Gilbert would have taken that to the house. But nice job getting the angle set and forcing Gilbert out of bounds.
The sophomore, Christian Gilbert, making his presence felt here on Game 1 of the 2016 campaign. We're all tied up, 7-7. 3 minutes and 10 seconds left in the Englishes, your complete home center, second quarter. Remind me to talk about the Orca Coolers at Englishes, Oscar, when we get a chance. Shotgun formation for the Colonels, 2 receivers to each side. Officials are going to stop play here for just a moment. Let's see if we can figure out what this is. It looked like might have been some equipment problems for Kester Long, that guy that you mentioned that really saved Lunenburg a touchdown. They asked him to step aside. Now they're going to place the ball in the middle of the field. Might just be a straight-up timeout for Altavista. We didn't get a really clear signal.
The official called like it was an official timeout.
Okay, Coach Sharness is walking out there, and Mike Revis is in the huddle as well. It looks to be a timeout. Let's just keep it here, Mr. Briggs, because we got into it a little bit late. Orca Coolers at Englishes right now. I know you're hearing a lot about some other coolers and those kind of things. In the summertime, though, I'm telling you, these Orca Coolers, Brent and Donnie and I were talking about these coolers today. They're fabulous quality. They've got a lot of different sizes you can go to. They're going to have some different color options in there as well. The Orca Coolers available at Englishes today.
That's the thing about English is you're not gonna go walk down there. You're not gonna walk into the store and get jumped.
No,
they carry quality product that's well known. They back the stuff that they sell.
Yep. The brands that they align themselves with are second to none. You know, top quality. And like you said, if there is a problem, Englishes is going to make it right for sure.
Absolutely, and you know, the bonus is you don't have to drive to Lynchburg. A lot of times we hear people say, well, I got to go to Lynchburg to get this and Lynchburg to get that.
No,
Folks, you don't.
Yeah.
Shop Altavista and shop Englishes.
Yep. 100% agree with you there. And it looks like the timeout is done. Let's reset things. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Altavista Colonels. They're in Central-Lunenburg territory after a nice punt return from Christian Gilbert. A nice stop by the Altavista defense again, by the way. Oscar Lunenburg is 0 for 3 on third downs tonight. That bodes well for the Colonels defense. 1st and 10 from the middle of the field, 32-yard line. 3:10 left to play in the half, so plenty of time. Colonels should have one timeout remaining, if I'm not mistaken. It says 2 on the board.
Yeah, the offsetting penalties certainly was a huge factor.
That was a first down play for Lunenburg. 3 receivers to the right for Malbeck. He fakes the handoff. Here comes the pass out to number 1, Jacob Adams. Nice blocking out front by Mormon. Adams tries to run through one tackle. He's hit, stacked up at the far sideline. Whistles come out a little bit late. It seemed like Adams was out of bounds there for a while, and a couple Lunenburg defenders got some shots in there. It's a 7 or 8 yard pickup, though, on first down, on a play that Malbeck really had a lot of pressure in his face.
Well, I was surprised he got the ball off, number one, and it looked like it was going to sail high. Jake did a nice job going up and getting it, and then with nobody blocking for him, did a nice job picking up the 9 yards, and he was fighting to get that first down. He stood himself up on the sideline and really opened himself up some extra hits.
Yeah, actually give him 9. 2nd and 1. Handoff play to Montague. Montague spin move at the 20. Now lowers his shoulder across the 16. Hard running from number 2, Jonathan Montague. Pickup of 7 yards gives the Colonels first down yardage. Sticks move with 2:25 left to play here in the second quarter.
Really looks like this offensive line is really starting to exert themselves and establish dominance over Lunenburg.
We talked about Lunenburg had a size advantage on paper. It looks like the stronger team up front is Altavista. Here comes Montague again inside the 10-yard line, dragging some bodies with him. Ran through a few of his own linemen. Now he's down to the 9-yard line. Good run there. It'll bring up 2nd and 4. 2:05 left to play in the half, Oscar. We're tied 7-7.
Plenty of time, and the Colonels do get the ball first in the second half.
Lunenburg subbed, and they've got some guys that aren't going to get off in time. Here, it doesn't matter. Montague with a touchdown. He hit a defender in the end zone just for good measure. Gave him the shoulder. Touchdown for Montague, 9-yard scamper. That gives the Colonels a 13-7 lead. Extra point on the way with 1:53 left to play in the first half.
Boy, again, that offensive line opened up a huge hole. You know, I was kind of watching what you were watching, and 2 of the Lunenburg players were at least 10 yards on the field. I was looking for that side judge to throw the flag for illegal participation for extra people on the field, which that's an absolute, but it didn't matter. Montague hit that hole and was in the end zone and punished the safety.
Colonels with 2 rushing touchdowns from 2 different people. Here's the extra point. Adams on to hold. Snap is back. Ball is down. Kick is true, but there are flags on the field. Legal procedure on the Altavista Colonels offense. This will back them up 5. Have to try the kick again. Boley had more than enough distance, but sometimes the redo can be a little bit harder than the initial kick. Coach Sharn is getting a little bit of an explanation as to what happened.
And meanwhile, over at the tractor pull.
Yeah, is that what that sound is?
Oh, yeah.
I thought somebody stole my car and they were trying to get out of here as quickly as possible. Bad muffler on my engine there. Sounds like that sometimes when I put my foot to the floor. So the Colonels will try this kick again. Oscar and I having a nice time here on a warm Friday night, although it has cooled down quite a bit. Not much of a breeze at all to speak of, though, and that makes it feel quite a bit worse. This time the kicking block will get set on the 15-yard line. Boley is ready. Here's the snap back. Perfect one again. Hold is down, and it looks like the kick good again. The Altavista Colonels springing out to a 7-point lead. It's 14-7 Altavista, 1:53 left to play in the half. Lunenburg football when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
Napa know-how. You don't need an air-conditioned steering wheel or high-performance supercharger to use Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil. Now just $5.79 a quart at Napa. Mobil 1 offers premium protection for all cars, premium or not so premium. So give your ride Mobil 1 synthetic, just $5.79 a quart. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General States pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer expires 9/30/16.
Brought to you by Napa of Altavista, proud supporter of the Altavista Colonels.
More live high school sports action on 105.5 KD Country.
We're back here from English Stadium. The Colonels springing out to a lead 14-7. And Oscar, before we talk about that nice drive and score from Altavista, our dear friend Callie Morgan listening via kdcountry.com, and she gave us some great info. Englishes opens at 8 tomorrow, 8 a.m. So you were right. We confirmed it. Great job, Callie. Now let's talk about the drive. That offensive line really starting to impose their will on the Central-Lunenburg defense.
Yeah, certainly when you compare opening game last year to opening game, certainly the first half this year, certainly more discipline, more purpose than what we saw from the Colonels in their opening game last year. And you mentioned, the heat up in the press box. Just think how warm it would be if it weren't for the efforts of the event coordinator to get some extra air moving up here.
The event coordinator, Robert Duff, got us a fan up here. It feels fabulous. It feels at least 1 to 2 degrees cooler up here in the press box. At minimum. And we're having a good time up here, if you couldn't tell. 1:53 left in the first half. Colonel's defense got to be a little bit careful. You don't want to allow Lunenburg a long return and set up maybe a 2-minute warning, 2-minute type of drill thing here. Let's see if Boley might squib kick for that reason. Now it's more of a high one. It'll land on the 15-yard line, gathered up on one hop by number 33, Malcolm Brown. Brown off to the races to his right. Ooh, hit hard with kind of a clothesline tackle by guess who? Jonathan Montague. Montague springs up off the pile, and he's halfway to the sideline in the blink of an eye. That's how excited he was. So the touchdown from Montague, and then the big hit on special teams. Although, in Lunenburg's defense here, they're going to start with decent field position on their own 33-yard line.
And I like the point that you made. Big opportunity here for the Colonels if they can shut Lunenburg down, not allow them to score. The Colonels do get the ball first in the second half. So,
shotgun formation again. It's sort of a tight shotgun formation. It's not a shotgun spread. Here comes the handoff to Deshaun Moore. He charges ahead behind right guard and right tackle for a decent pickup on first down. Running play will net them 6 yards.
It's interesting that Coach Sean has talked about the game film, how they went to a spread pretty often in the benefit game. We have not seen that at all.
No.
Maybe one play this half.
Normally been double tight end, a wing back, a blocking back, and then a running back. Farmer had him in his grasp and couldn't pull him in. He's upset with himself. The rest of the defense was behind him to make up for it, though. Matt Aiken in on the stop. Traquan Farmer in on the stop. No gain on second down.
Yep.
It'll bring up 3rd and 4.
He slipped away from Farmer, but he wasn't going anywhere. Stephen did a nice job of stopping Moore in the backfield and really made the stop on that play, allowed the rest of his teammates to clean up. Nice pursuit.
Colonel's defense has actually been perfect on 3rd down today. They did get a 4th down conversion, Central-Lunenburg, that is. Handoff this time to number 33. That's Malcolm Brown. Brown forging ahead. He's close to the line of scrimmage. I think he's probably going to get enough as he falls forward across the 43-yard line.
44,
they are moving the chains.
44 seconds left here in the half. Of course, you put the announcer's jinx.
Yes, I did.
Colonels were perfect in shutting Central-Lunenburg down on 3rd down.
Do you believe in that kind of thing?
No.
Okay. 1st and 10 here. 40 seconds left to play in the half. Colonels lead 14-7. Passing play here. They fake. They're throwing over the middle, looking for Alexander. Hit off his hands. No good. Malbeck was there in pretty good coverage. But Alexander, with his size advantage, almost had a chance to pull it in. That'll stop the clock with 33 seconds.
That was a well-thrown ball into coverage. Malbeck and Gilbert were both there, but boy, that was a well-thrown ball.
It was. And how'd you like to have a target like Alexander? He's 6'2", 210. Honestly, he looks bigger than that.
Yeah,
in both accords.
He really does.
It'll bring up 2nd and 10, far hash mark. Lunenburg working right to left, and now it's going to be a timeout on the field. Colonel's defense wants to talk things over. We'll talk it over, too. 33.9 seconds left to play in the second quarter. Altavista on top, 14-7 on 105.5 KD Country.
Good food, low prices, and great service keep customers coming back for more day after day at El Cazador Mexican Restaurant in Altavista. El Cazador is now open all afternoon, so you can come by anytime, any day, 11 a.m. till 10 p.m. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, a great place to unwind and relax with friends. Open 7 days a week, Main Street, Altavista. El Cazador thanks you for your business.
More live high school sports action on 105.5 KD Country.
Some scores and some updates for you on the Subway halftime show. That's always fun to look around the area. Oscar, I'll tell you one right now. Appomattox, the defending state champs, up 43-6 over Buckingham. Colonels have got some time to get tuned up for them. Next week, Altavista travels to Farmville to take on Prince Edward. That's a game that the Colonels have been playing for 4 or 5 years now. A nice matchup between Prince Edward and Altavista.
Some other quick scores. JF up over William Fleming 20-14 in the second. Bishop Sullivan out of Virginia Beach all over Liberty Christian 26-0.
Running play on second down. Another one of those inside reverse plays. It went from right to left, the motion, and then the back turned it up into the middle there.
Boy, clock's running. It's under 20 seconds left. It'll be interesting to see. They're going to call timeout.
Another timeout. This time it's Central-Lunenburg burning the timeout. Let's keep it right here this time since we just took one. Oscar, let's maybe shift gears and discuss, I don't want to call it predictions, but what are some things maybe you're looking to see this season for the Colonels? Maybe just keep it to this early season before they get into the Dogwood District play. What do you expect from this team that has a mix of young and old?
Well, again, I've already alluded a little bit to it in that, again, it's only in the first half of football, but there certainly seems to be a little bit more discipline, a little bit more cohesiveness than there was last year. Can credit some of that to the leadership of Mateo Malbeck and Stephen Farmer.
I think those two guys really have shown a lot more leadership in it's something that maybe they didn't have to do in the past, and this year they did. Maybe some of it's just leading by example, but those two guys, really 3-year starters, both of them. They've played so many snaps of football. They were in on those state championship teams, so they remember sort of that old guard and the old way of doing things, and they do bring a lot of experience. 3rd and 4 for the Lunenburg Chargers. They break the timeout huddle. Here's the snap to Jackie Dalton, the third. He'll hand off to Malcolm Brown. Brown looking to go up the middle, thrown backwards. He looks like he's going to have enough for first down yardage. It's 10.9 seconds left. Chargers are out of timeouts, so they'll have to get up, get a play in, and snap it. Colonels do have a football player down around the 49-yard line on the far hash mark. This will be an official's timeout, and it'll give Lunenburg a de facto timeout. They'll get a chance to talk about a last-second play here. I guess maybe if you throw a ball to the sideline, you got a chance for 2 plays. Trying to identify who the Colonel is that's down over there on that far hash mark.
Yeah, I don't want to give out any bad information yet, but it looked like it was 55, which would be Ethan Young.
It would be Ethan Young, who was working his way back into the lineup after a car wreck this summer. Colonel's going to go over and get some water here and hydrate up with 10.9 seconds left in the half. Let's take a quick timeout now for the injuries. Altavista on top, 14-7 over Central-Lunenburg. Final seconds of the first half coming up when you return to 105.5 KD Country.
PCM Industrial of Altavista offers mobile welding and repair services, fully equipped service trucks, and certified craftsmen, and quick response to satisfy your needs. Contact PCM Industrial at powerconstruction.com. PCM Industrial is a fully insured Class A licensed contractor, OSHA and MSHA compliant. PCM Industrial Services of Altavista wishes Coach Sharnes and the Altavista Colonels football team good luck in another winning season.
More live high school sports action on 105.5 KD Country.
More shout-outs are available. We've sent a few out already to some former Colonels and a lot of Colonel fans out there listening. Some people didn't want to brave the heat, and some people are just out of town, Oscar. They couldn't be here. But get up with us on the KD Country Facebook page, KD Country Twitter. Oscar and I are on Twitter as well. Send a smoke signal, carrier pigeon, anything you got to do to get in touch with us. If you want us to talk about you, we will. It was Ethan Young down on the ground. Good news is he's walking off under his own power, not even really receiving any help from the training staff or the coaches. So hopefully this is not something that's going to keep Ethan out too long.
And we talk about that Altavista training staff. They don't get any better than Angela Emerson.
Nope, second to none for sure. She does a fabulous job of keeping everybody as healthy as possible and prepared, and not just for the Colonels, but for the other teams too, the visiting teams.
Well, it's more than just injury; it's preventive as well.
Yep. 1st and 10 for the Chargers. Handoff play. It's Malcolm Brown, off right tackle. Got some space out there. McClure slowed him down a bit. He's across the 25, now to the 20, slung out of bounds into the first lane of the track. They get up, and there's a little bit of talking afterwards. McClure finally did run him down. It looked like number 50, Daniel Triplett, was out there on the edge as well, but that's a big gain. A 16-yard pickup on first down. No time showing left on the clock, though, so the Colonels did what they had to do to get away without giving up any points. Nice first half for Altavista. They lead 14-7. Subway halftime show on the way when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
How do we make a better sandwich at Subway? Our new chicken Caesar melt is a great example. We start with tender rotisserie-style chicken that's raised without antibiotics. Top it with a savory Caesar sauce and add melted provolone and a sprinkle of Parmesan cheese for a flavor that's so deliciously unique, it redefines what a better sandwich should taste like. The all-new chicken Caesar melt from Subway. Limited time only.
Members of the KD Country Sports Club are proud supporters of Colonel football.
El Cerrito in Altavista. Throw on a sombrero, shake your maracas. It's El Cerrito time. Authentic Mexican cuisine only El Cerrito can serve up.
The Medicine Shop in Altavista, your Carolina boot headquarters with all sizes and styles of Carolina boots. Get 10% off and free strings through August at the Medicine Shop.
One Stop Mart, Main Street, Altavista, where gas is cheap, beverages are cold, and the chicken is kicking.
They're doing it right at the Dairy Freeze. Burgers, fries, hot dogs, and, of course, ice cream. Dairy Freeze on Main Street.
Radio Shack and Crystal Bay Pools, Altavista, serving your area since 1989 for swimming pools installations, chemicals, liners, and more.
Brought to you by the members of the KD Country Sports Club. Get on the winning team and come find one of a kind. If you're looking for a new dining experience, try Piece of Pie on Broad Street. Come check out the great selection of local craft beers and enjoy a delicious barbecue meal at Two Sisters Tap Room, or sample a bottle of traditional mead from Vassir Mead Works, one of 12 meaderies in the state. An invitation from the Altavista Office of Economic Development. More information online at altavistaontrack.net.
More live high school sports action on 105.5 KD Country.
KD Country. It's the Subway halftime show here from Altavista High School. The 7-point lead for Altavista, 2 rushing touchdowns, an 11-yard rushing touchdown from Christian Gilbert got things going for the Colonels. Jonathan Montague added a 9-yard touchdown to give him the lead. Nick Boley is 2 for 2 on extra points. Deshaun Moore was the rushing touchdown for Central-Lunenburg. Chargers led 7-0 there at the beginning of the second quarter, and it was an interesting first quarter, a defensive battle in the first quarter. Both teams had trouble picking up third downs. They didn't seem to have much trouble moving the ball in first and second down, but they had trouble picking up third downs. Credit that to both teams' defenses. And some miscues and penalties hurt both ball clubs as well. We'll look around and find some more scores for you. Jefferson Forest does lead William Fleming 20-14, late stages of the first half. Salem is up 27-21 over Amherst. Magna Vista, a 7-0 lead over Dan River early in the first half. William Byrd leads Cave Spring, that's a tie ball game, 14-14. It was Appomattox rolling up a big lead over Buckingham, 43-6 at halftime. Our friends at Galax, Oscar, they're the defending 1A state champions. They lead 21-12 over Glenver. And we'll keep searching for some more scores, but I talked about the Altavista scoring. Offensive line, we've talked about it a bunch, but seems to me, and probably to you as well, got to give them a lot of the credit for those nice drives that the Colonels had.
Boy, they continued a little bit shaky at first. Looked like they were playing a little bit uncertain, and it's not unusual to see that dance between two teams early in the first part of the season. And they settled in, and looks like once they got behind that they really turned it up a notch.
Yeah, those 3 illegal procedure penalties hurt them in the first quarter. Didn't have any in the second quarter, unless you count the one on the extra point. Didn't end up burning them, though. They made it anyway. So that was a nice adjustment there from the Altavista offensive line. Defensively, the Colonels have tackled well. They did give up a couple long plays in there to Central-Lunenburg, but Lunenburg's got quite a bit of talent. It's probably unavoidable to give up a few long plays. It's the Subway halftime show. We'll step aside and take a break, bring it back with more analysis. We'll talk about the second half and get you some more scores from around our area as well. I'm Kyle Haney. He's Oscar Briggs. Colonels lead 14-7 over Central-Lunenburg on 105.5 KD Country.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving family since 1905.
Life is full of opportunities to show someone we love them. One such opportunity is the funeral or memorial service. Finch and Finch helps you celebrate the relationships they shared and honors the memory of your loved one.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving family since 1905.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes in Virginia are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
Brought to you by English Construction Company, with offices in Lynchburg.
No one knows trucks like we know trucks. Come see us and you'll agree. From small to tall, we've got it all. Highview Motors, GMC. Come on in. Bring the family. See your friends at Highview Motors. Highview Motors, GMC. From small to tall, we've got it all. Highview Motors, GMC.
Compassionate Care Choices, Autumn Care, 24-hour skilled nursing, inpatient, outpatient, physical, occupational, and speech therapies. Autumn Care invites you to tour their facility. In 2016, receiving the Bronze Quality by the American Healthcare Association. 5-star rating by Centers for Medicare Medicaid Services. Autumn Care, a member of Sabre Healthcare Group, serving Altavista and surrounding areas since 1989.
More live high school sports action on 105.5 KD Country.
Subway halftime show returns from the press box at English Stadium in Altavista. It's a warm Friday evening. Oscar, if you've been around high school football even for one season, you know you got to play in some weather like this. I mean, let's be honest, practice starts August 1st. Guys put the pads on around August 3rd. So they're used to this somewhat. But I will, for perspective, point out that our illustrious, easy for me to say, athletic director Dean Hubbard did say it's the hottest one he could remember. He's been around for a long time. We're not going to tell you how old. Long time. Not going to tell you how old Dean Hubbard is, but that does speak to somewhat of the level of heat and humidity out here.
Well, certainly VHSL has become aware of the dangers of heat and have kind of restricted what the teams in high schools can do. No longer, used to be 2-a-days were commonplace, and you'd go full pads both practices. They don't do that anymore. There's just been too many issues, unwarranted deaths that associated with that. So very aware of it, and they do a great job making sure the kids stay hydrated and keeping them safe.
Well, and player safety is such a big issue now, and it should be, really. I mean, when you think about it, we're talking about teenagers here, and obviously the hydration, the heat is part of that. There's such a big emphasis now on tackling properly with your head up, trying to avoid those head and neck injuries, and all that stuff is great for the game and should contribute to the long-term growth and health of the game.
The concussion protocol that they have to go through now, even at the high school level, is very rigorous. So, continuing along the shout-out line,
sure.
Lance Bain checking in, and of course his son Lance Jr. is going to be joining the Colonel basketball team this year as they continue to have an excellent program. And another shout out to Glenn Miller's doing a little something special for the basketball team this year. If you trying to help them raise a little bit of money, stop by Miller's Jewelry and see Glenn, and he'll fix you up and tell you exactly what's going on. And the Colonel Club does an outstanding job of supporting the athletic departments here, making sure that the athletes have what they need, but it's still not always enough. So these extra fundraising activities go a long way towards helping ensure that the kids are well taken care of.
Yeah, the Colonel's basketball fundraiser that you know and love is changing just a little bit this year. They're selling raffle tickets. They're $50 a piece, and I know your first thought is, oh, $50 a piece, boy. But think about what you can win. First prize is $2,500. It's $2,500. Second prize is $1,500. Third prize ain't bad either at $500. Fourth and fifth are $250 a piece. So even though the raffle program has changed, there's no TV and iPad and stuff this year, cash talks. I mean,
That's right.
cold, hard cash will get it done for everybody. So we'll talk more about the raffle ticket program that the Colonel Basketball Club, or the Colonel Basketball Team, rather, is doing. And Glenn and Linda Miller so gracious to volunteer some of their time, and you can get a raffle ticket down there at Miller's Jewelry. All right, quick thoughts on the second half before we step aside again and return for the kickoff, Oscar. You think Colonel's offensive line going to continue to impose their will, or do you think maybe the Lunenburg defensive line has either a change of heart or a change of strategy?
Well, I think the change, I think the Colonel's offensive line will continue to do the same thing that they've been doing and dominate that line of scrimmage. I think certainly from a Lunenburg point of view, they have got to open up their offense a little bit more. The Colonels have shown that they'll bend but won't break and not allow the big play to Central-Lunenburg. So I think that we may see more of that spread that Coach Shaughness saw in that benefit game he's got the game film of.
It's just 14-7. It's a one-score game, so make no mistake about it. Lunenburg nowhere near out of this, and they've got a good football team. 21 seniors on the roster for Central-Lunenburg, and they have been a very good program. 9-4 last year, 8-4 the year before that, 10-3 back in 2013. So this is a team that is surely going to have a lot of fight in the second half. It should be a fun second half to watch.
And Will Thomas does an outstanding job with that group of kids. Like you said, they're perennial playoff contenders now.
I was going to say Chippy Chappell was the famous coach from Central-Lunenburg. He is the second most winning coach in VHSL history, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, in the 80s, in the early 90s, you couldn't talk about high school football without talking about Central-Lunenburg. They were either runner-up or state champions, Oscar, every year from 1984 to 1990. That's not a bogus stat either. They played for a state championship for 7 straight seasons.
That's an incredible stat.
It's
and speaks volumes about that organization and that coaching staff.
And they had a few lean years in there, but for the most part, Central-Lunenburg, always you're going to have to strap it on and play some rugged, hard-nosed football to beat the Chargers. Another time out here on the Subway Halftime Show. 2 great locations for you to eat fresh. Main Street in Altavista, and also inside the Walmart on Clarion Road. We'll step aside. It's 14-7 Colonels on top of the Chargers from Lunenburg. Second half on the way when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
Altavista High School football is brought to you by Steve Farmer Auto Sales. Steve Farmer Auto Sales, where there's always a good selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. And they're priced right with financing available. See Steve Farmer Auto Sales, 1112 Main Street, Altavista. The next time you get ready to make a change. Steve Farmer Auto Sales, best deals on wheels.
Introducing D.L. Bryant Heating and Cooling. A name you've grown to trust, Donnie Bryant is back with D.L. Bryant Heating and Cooling. As an American Standard dealer, D.L. Bryant Heating has the tools and the talent to handle all of your heating and cooling issues, large or small. Call 841-1580. That's 841-1580 for D.L. Bryant Heating and Cooling. Call 841-1580 for a name you can trust, Donnie Bryant and D.L. Bryant Heating and Cooling.
A short drive will save you money.
I'm Greg Walker with an exciting new offer from Fellers Chevrolet. Purchase any new or used vehicle of Fellers and receive a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty and a 3-day, 100% money-back guarantee. Again, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty and a 3-day money-back guarantee. At Fellers Chevrolet, we stand behind what we sell, and we save you money. Come see us. You'll be glad you did.
A short drive will save you money. Fellers Chevrolet in Altavista.
When you need an important business loan, you want to deal with a decision maker who will respond quickly. I'm Penny Wallace with local First National Bank at our airport branch. I'm focused on business customers, and we have a streamlined process to help you with any loan need. I can offer various business loans for real estate, new equipment, and credit lines. So for better business banking, think of us first. That's local First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Back to the press box for high school sports on 105.5 KD Country.
Subway halftime show concluding here on 105.5 KD Country. Both teams in their respective end zones warming up just a little bit. A few more scores. Some of them you may have already heard. Magna Vista 7, Dan River 7. Wildcats look to be loaded again this year, don't they, Oscar?
Yeah, don't they always?
It seems that way.
Are they out of Edmonds yet? That's the major question.
Well, they've still got one coaching on the sideline.
And that's a big factor.
That is a big factor. Luray is leading Nelson 13-0. Appomattox up 57-6 over Buckingham now. Amherst and Salem locked in a battle. Amherst trails by 3, 30-27. JF up 22-21 over William Fleming. Bob Alvis, our dear friend, informed us that Brookville and Albemarle delayed their start time because of the heat. They were going to try and start around 8 o'clock, but they were going to keep their eye on the mercury to see how hot it was. So that'll be interesting. We'll keep an eye on our friends up there in Campbell County. We need to get a Tunstall and Rustburg score here.
I got it. Rustburg 21, Tunstall nothing at the half. Liberty Minutemen 21-19 over Franklin in the second quarter.
Very nice. Thank you for filling in the gaps. And, of course, Rustburg travels to Altavista in week 4, so that's coming up pretty soon. September 16th is the date on that. We always look forward to that county rivalry matchup.
Gretna trailing 7-0. Don't know if you called that one or not.
I didn't have that one.
Against Randolph Henry, at Randolph Henry down in Charlotte Courthouse.
Some stats here from the first half of this ball game. Both teams had 8 first downs. Altavista 106 rushing yards, 45 yards passing. Malbeck 4 for 4 throwing the football around. Completed the one big one to Jacob Adams, another one to Adams, one to Chancellor Mormon. Maybe it was 3 to Jacob Adams, pardon me.
3 to Jacob Adams.
Does that sound right? 5 penalties for the Altavista Colonels at 35 yards. That's something that probably the coaching staff not particularly happy about. Why would you be happy about penalties, of course? I think, though, again, early in the season, week 1, you've got to expect that you're going to have some penalties. So it's not a situation where I don't think you're tearing yourself up over the penalties, but certainly they'd like to have a little bit fewer. Colonels break the halftime warm-up huddle, I guess, and now they're going to come huddle on the sideline here. Boy, these halftimes take longer and longer, don't they, Oscar?
Well, there was a special presentation. I don't know if you talked about that or not, with Kathy Dotson, who a longtime member of the Colonel Club, and even though she didn't have kids here in school, just was a found. She just such a hard worker. The announcement of a scholarship, an annual scholarship for $500 in her name. That was a special presentation. Well, and then the band has a new halftime show that they're trying to polish up on and get ready for competition there. So, and then, of course, on top of that, you have the 3-minute grace period that the referees allow to get the teams warmed up. So,
which sometimes turns into 5 or 6.
That's right.
And on a warm night like tonight, maybe you do need to give the guys a little bit of extra time to keep the warm-ups a little bit more leisurely. Colonel's JV team lost last night in Lunenburg, 26-20. Altavista was up 20-6 at one point, and the home team came storming back. But the Altavista junior varsity team poised for another successful year. The Altavista varsity team retaking the field right now. They'll get the football in the second half to start it. Scheduled to anyway. I suppose there's always the possibility of an onside kick. Colonels in the home black jerseys. They lead 14-7. I'm Kyle Haney. He's Oscar Briggs. Eleanor and Katie doing the sound engineer work and the producing back at home base. We're so glad to have you along for the ride.
And that's a good call on the onside kick. There are virtually no hands up on the front 4, and then a pretty significant 15-yard gap back to the players that do have some hands.
Here's the kick. They do kick it deep. It's going to wind up being fielded on the 12-yard line. This looks like number 1, Jacob Adams. He's across the 25, now the 30. Darts to the left around the 32-yard line, pretty much where he stopped. Might have gotten to the 33 or the 34. Colonels will take over on the far hash mark to start their second half of football, moving left to right from our perspective here at the press box in Altavista. Wonder how much the Colonels will open up the playbook here, Oscar. They did run the ball with Mateo Malbec some. They ran that nice option play to pick up third down yardage.
Starting off in the spread.
Man in motion is Chancellor Mormon. He'll move across the formation to the right. Handoff play, they give it to Montague. Montague following the pulling guard to the right. Got men draped all around the shoulders and the arms. He rode with them for about a yard, but not much else. It should bring up 2nd and 9 as the clock turns with 11:40 left to play in the third quarter.
Boy, they're giving him a very favorable spot. Pickup of almost 2. Of course, they did put Chancellor in motion out of that spread, and he was the lead blocker for Jonathan on that play.
Colonels have good blockers as the receivers. I mean, you're talking about guys like Jacob Adams, Chancellor Mormon, Jamelin Jones. Traquan Farmer's been running around out there some. Lawrence Galliard, a lot of options. They're going to throw now. They've got Galliard. No, it's tipped high out of bounds. They were looking for Lawrence along the left sideline there. Pass just skipped off the hands, out of bounds harmlessly. It'll bring up 3rd and 8.
Lawrence did the classic. He turned his head and was looking downfield to see where he was going to run. He did take his eye off the ball very clearly to see that time.
Colonels look to the sideline. They don't huddle either. It's not a hurry-up offense necessarily, but it is a no-huddle offense for Altavista. They've been doing that for some time now, at least 6 or 7 years. Pretty much the entire Mike Sharness era. In the early days, they ran some I formation and huddled up, that kind of thing, but last little bit it's been all spread. Oh, fumble. Football is on the ground. Malbec dove after it. It's still loose, and now it's picked up by the Chargers. Chargers have it on the 25-yard line. It was number 51, Deion Graham, that fell on the fumble. That was on the exchange from quarterback to running back, and you could tell that just did not go right. Malbec tried to dive after it, but to no avail. It's Charger football. Early stages of the third quarter.
That play didn't get started right. Chancellor Mormon, Mateo wanted him in motion, had to get him going in motion, and Chancellor looked uncertain as to what his responsibilities were with the play call, and it just never went right.
I think that was a big part of it, absolutely. Here comes Jackie Dalton III in at the quarterback. Hands it off to Malcolm Brown. Brown sifting his way through the Colonel defense. Hit hard around the 20. Stopped by a couple defenders there. Nice chunk of yardage, though, on first down. We'll call it 4 yards. Clock turns with 10:34 left to play in the third quarter. Altavista leading 14-7, but on their heels a bit after a fumble on the opening drive of the third quarter. Tight formation again for Central-Lunenburg. This time it's unbalanced to the right. One wide out to the right as well. It is a shotgun. They'll pull some linemen. They'll give it to Brown again. He's got a big hole. Cut down with a nice thigh pad tackle from Mateo Malbec. Good aggressiveness from the safety spot there by number 3, Malbec.
It looked like he was going to head to the end zone, but Mateo, in a one-on-one situation, really classic open field example, just drove through his thighs and brought him down. Short of a first down, brings up 3rd and 3, and I'm sure that in this situation, Lunenburg's in a 4-down situation.
You would have to think. Far hash mark, Lunenburg working right to left. They're in the road white jerseys and pants, tight formation. They pull the lineman again. They give it to Brown again. Looked like the same play. Turned it up inside this time. Stacked up and hit hard. He's near the line of scrimmage. One spot on the far sideline looks like he's got more than enough, and yes, the referee signals to move the chains. This will be a fresh set of downs with 9:35 left to play in the third quarter. Lunenburg trailing by 7, but driving after a fumble to start the second half.
They're going to put that at about the 14-yard line, and Colonels have got to really bow up their defense here and not let that turnover come back to haunt them.
Sure do, or create a turnover of their own perhaps. Tight formation again, the shotgun. Here comes a reverse play. Working out to the left. Colonel's defense is there to throw him down around the 13-yard line. It was Jamelin Jones stopping Darrell Jones. Jones came around from that right wing spot, working right to left. Tried to gain the the near sideline, but nothing doing as Jamelin Jones snuffed it out. They do give him about a yard gain.
Jamelin Jones also limping off the field and requested to be taken out.
2nd and 9 coming up. Chargers switching some personnel in. It's number 28, Deshaun Moore, back in the game. He got the bulk of the carries in the first half. He'll set up to the left of the quarterback, Dalton III. This time Dalton's going to keep it. He's got some room out there. Now hit hard around the 11-yard line. If he kept going to the sideline, he had room, but you're right. He turned it back in, and Aiken and Farmer were there to greet him.
Well, and he had more out front blocking for him. And let's face it, at 5'7", 150 pounds, Deshaun Moore is not going to be a force that you really want to follow as a blocking back.
Better ball carrier than a blocker, for
Absolutely.
sure. Brings up 3rd and 8. Colonel's defensive has got themselves in a pretty decent situation here. Moore is set up to the left of Jackie Dalton. Same formation. Here comes an inside reverse play. And they've got some room up the gut, now down to the goal line. Perhaps stopped on the 1-yard line. That was number 13, Darryl Jones, on the inside reverse. An inside running play. Jones comes from that wing spot, takes the inside handoff. Hard to find him in there. It'll bring up 1st and goal from, we'll call it the 1-yard line, Oscar.
Boy, that was a well-designed play and extremely well executed. Fooled the Colonels.
Hard to stop, too. They had a lot of room inside. Here comes the shotgun snap again. They'll hand it off to Moore. Deshaun Moore is in there for 6. Touchdown for the Lunenburg Chargers. Deshaun Moore, his 2nd rushing touchdown of the evening. This time it comes from 1 yard out. It comes off the Altavista fumble. You can call that a 28-yard scoring drive for Lunenburg, taking full advantage of the turnover. On to try the extra point is number 12, Benjamin Atkins. Just not a lot of room there for the Colonel's defense to operate, OB.
No, you turn it over that deep in your own territory, and you're asking for trouble. And nice job by Lunenburg capitalizing on that big mistake.
Snap is a little high, but gets to the kicking block. Line drive boot is no good. Wow. Hold it off to the left. That could loom large later on in the game. Colonels still lead. It's been cut into. They're on top 14-13. They get the football back when you return to 105.5 KD Country.
It's cold in here. Will your heating system keep you warm this winter, or will you spend a cold evening shivering under the covers? Have your heating system inspected today by Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling. Kent Tyree has over 20 years experience and specializes in heating, air, plumbing, and electrical. Licensed and bonded. Call for an appointment today. 309-2266. 309-2266. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling.
Back to the press box for high school sports on 105.5 KD Country.
Colonels were plagued with some penalties in the first quarter. Second quarter, they scored twice and got a 14-7 lead. Let's hope the third quarter is not like the first quarter as far as the miscues go. A fumble leads to a touchdown from Central-Lunenburg. The asterisk on that is that Lunenburg misses the extra point. Could end up mattering down the stretch here in a tight ball game. Colonels still on top, 14-13.
Well, certainly the Colonels did a nice job of responding to the score in the second quarter when Lunenburg scored. You've got to be a Colonel fan. You've got to hope for the same type response on this drive.
Obviously, the coaching staff is hoping for that type of response, too. Got to hold on to the football, not just on offense, but here on the kickoff as well. Both teams taking a little bit of time to break the post-score huddle, and the referee sort of walks over there to the Colonel's huddle and beckons them on, says, come on, guys, let's play some football.
I think the officiating crew's done a good job tonight with the pace of the game, ensuring that it's had good flow, but it's certainly they've taken a little bit of extra time to make sure that these kids are getting hydrated too.
I would agree with you. That's something you got to keep your eye on if you are an official and a coach. It's 8:31 right now, so this game definitely taking a little bit longer than normal. Although I don't know, again, maybe week one games do take longer than normal because some of the ins and outs and what have yous as far as getting the personnel right, et cetera, et cetera. Lunenburg took even longer to break their huddle than Altavista did. They're just now coming out onto the ball field. 7:49 left to play in the Englishes, your complete home center third quarter. The end of season sale is on at Carhartt, or at Englishes in the Carhartt department, that is. Plenty of great deals available on Carhartt apparel for men and women, as Oscar always likes to point out.
That's right.
And you can get some good deals there as they start to change over to some of the more fall and winter clothing.
I'll make a comment here in just a minute after the kickoff.
And they open at 8 a.m. Big thanks again to Callie Morgan for providing us that information. Jacob Adams has the kickoff. He's going to follow the wedge right up the gut. He's across the 30, the 35, now hit hard, dropped at the 40-yard line. Nice return, full head of steam by number 1. Jacob Adams gets the Colonels in pretty good starting field position here for their second drive of the second half. Yep. Looks like Raymond Alexander down on the ground for Lunenburg.
And that's it looks like we'll see him go to work on him. It looks like a classic example of a cramp, and that's exactly what they're treating him for.
Yep. Coach Sharness and I, this is just an aside here, but we were having a discussion about something I heard on the Olympics about how they're treating cramps with spicy drinks, like hot sauce in a drink, like a spicy V8. Something about the nerve endings in your mouth kind of trick your body into realizing you're not cramping somewhere else, like your leg or something like that.
I'll have a Bloody Mary tomorrow.
I'm not, exactly. I'm not an expert. I just saw it in Rio. It was hot down there.
Boy, I'll tell you where it's hot too is in Appomattox County. Doug Smith and the Raiders at half, 57-6 over Buckingham. That's at the half.
That's up and down the turf. You're right. You don't want that Bermuda grass to catch fire from all the sparks flying. Whew. Looks like the Raiders reloaded and ready for bear. They're on a winning streak. They were 15-0 last year. And the en route to the 2A state championship. Great stuff from Appomattox last year. I think, especially as it got late in the playoffs, everybody was pulling for the Raiders. Spread formation for the Colonels to start their second drive of the second half. They'll scrimmage from their own 41-yard line after a nice Jacob Adams return. McClure's in there as a blocking back. He'll shift to the right slightly. Here comes the shotgun snap. Waist high, Maulback hands it to Montague. Montague spun around with a jersey tackle. Manages to forge his way ahead for 1 yard, but not much else. Good defense on the interior by Jackson Parsons, who gets up sort of limping after the tackle. They do end up giving Johnny 2 yards on the carry.
Parsons 5'10", 230. He's a well put together athlete.
We talked about Lunenburg's got some size on the roster. 270, 236, couple guys at 230, 249, 242, 263.
330.
It's a lot of numbers I just spouted out. What it means is they've got
Big
size.
hole.
Here comes Montague busting loose across the 50, now to the 48. Nice tackle out in space to cut him down. That was number 13, Darrell Jones, that perhaps saved a touchdown or at least a much longer gain. First down for Altavista.
Continuing the shout-out, saw Rodney Thornhill in the crowd earlier tonight, decked out in his UVA gear. Of course, ex-Altavista standout Juan Thornhill looks like he's going to be a starting corner for the Cavaliers this year.
Exciting times for not just the Thornhill family, but all the Cavalier fans. They're excited about the new coach in town, and all indications are that they are headed in the right direction. Here comes the jet sweep play. They tried to hand it to Jacob Adams, but he lost it. He wanted to crawl after it. He never got there. It's picked up on the loose ball by number 24, John McGrath. It's Central-Lunenburg football after another turnover from the Altavista Colonels. Unfortunate stuff there. That time, again, on the handoff exchange. Adams never really had the football. And I suppose both players there, the quarterback and the running back / receiver, Jacob Adams, due for some of the blame on that one, Mr. Briggs. Adams tried to recover the football, but just couldn't. It's Lunenburg football in their own territory, but with great starting field position, the 47-yard line.
All the momentum clearly on the side of the Lunenburg Chargers right now.
Yeah, Chargers still trail by 1, but they've got the momentum. A little bit of break in the momentum as they need a timeout to get some personnel issues straight. Let's take the timeout, too. Colonels lead by 1, 6:28 left to play in the third quarter on 105.5 KD Country.
Hello, this is Jerry Miley from 1433 Altavista Moose Center. It's asking everybody to come on down and join us and see what the Moose is all about to help us support our Moose Heart, Moose Haven family. Anybody's welcome to come down and take a tour of our building and see what's going on. Come on down and we'll let you in and we can have some fun. We're looking forward.
Meet Jerry and the rest of the Altavista Moose family and become a member. The Altavista Moose Family Center on Lynch Mill Road.
Back to the press box for high school sports on 105.5 KD Country.
Second turnover of the night for the Altavista Colonels. Second turnover in as many possessions, Oscar. What is the Altavista Colonels defense going to need to do here to come up with some way to stem this tide of momentum that Lunenburg clearly has grabbed?
Boy, they've got to get into the backfield and have some penetration and stop allowing these 5-yard gains. that's a tight backfield.
Yeah, it is. It's set up like a single wing. Here's an opportunity, though. High snap was mishandled by Jackie Dalton III. He does fall on it, though. Colonels were in close pursuit. Farmer was there, and a nice sportsmanlike move by Stephen Farmer to help the quarterback up off the turf. Matt Aiken was there. Christian Gilbert was there. It's a 7-yard loss for the Chargers. So there's a bit of an early good start for the Altavista defense.
And the first half was relatively clean. A couple penalties on the Colonels, but other than that, it was relatively clean. Second half has started off sloppy for both teams.
39-yard line, near side hash mark for the Chargers. Here comes that inside reverse play again. They give it to number 13, Darrell Jones. Nothing doing. Thrown down for maybe a 1-yard gain.
Jacob Adams was in pursuit on that. He sniffed that out and was all over it.
Aiken was in the area as well. Here comes 3rd and long. Nice situation now for the Altavista Colonels defense. Maybe to get the football back, maybe even get a turnover here. 5:32 left to play in the third quarter. 14-13. Colonels on top. But back-to-back turnovers have the home team reeling just a little bit here in Altavista. They put a man in motion, they toss it to him. This is Moore. Moore is going to try for the sideline. Not there. Adams snuffed it out and slowed him down. Here comes the cavalry. But Moore is still on his feet somehow, going back to the left, to the middle of the defense. Now shoved backwards at the 40-yard line. Moore took some punishment for his troubles, but you got to tip your cap to Deshaun Moore for keeping that run alive somehow.
Yeah, he kept it alive, but he paid the price for it. He's still down on all fours. Nice pursuit by Jake Adams and the rest of the Colonels, getting out on the edge and keeping him from turning that corner. But equally job, Moore was able to get back, bounce back, and head back in this direction. And Colonels had to start pursuit all over again. Nice job staying in their lanes and pretty much staying at home and able to stop him. Moore is having trouble getting off the field, Kyle.
Punting formation for Central-Lunenburg. Both teams are going to get a bit of an injury timeout here, or is it just an official timeout? I think it's an official timeout. Let's take it with them. The score is 14-13. Altavista on top. 4:53 left to play in the third quarter on 105.5 KD Country.
At English's Hardware Supply, look for the National Hardware Center. There you'll find a wide array of hardware items for your home, like storm and screen door latches and closers. National also has replacement strike plates for your storm and screen doors. For backyard security, the National Hardware Center has gate hasps, latch, and padlocks. And there's much more from National and Stanley.
English's is your complete home center.
Look for National at English's Building Supply in Altavista.
Your high school sports station with award-winning coverage on 105.5 KD Country.
4:53 left to play in the English's, your complete home center. Third quarter. Colonel's defense with a nice job bailing out the offense there to bounce back from the turnover. They look to get the football back. Punting formation here for Central-Lunenburg on 4th and 14. Punter stands on the 30-yard line. Altavista return men, 2 of them back there at the 25-yard line. Punt does get off. It hangs high in the night sky and takes a nice Lunenburg bounce. Maulback's going to get away from it. Boy, it takes a really good Charger bounce. It rolls about 20 full yards all the way to the 22-yard line. Colonels will take over there with 4:37 left to play in the third quarter.
And the Colonels have got to be patient here. Last 2 possessions have been turnovers, and got to get that confidence back and be sure-handed on this particular drive.
Yeah, I'll tell you, as a football coach, I think most coaches right now are saying, let's just hang on to the football. Even if we go 3 and out and don't pick up a first down, let's just hold on to the football 3 times successfully. Let's get some positive momentum going on in that regard. Colonels look to the sideline. They need a new lineman in there. Number 53, Deshaun Hamlet will hustle in. He gets set up in the right guard position. Now the offense is set to go on 1st and 10. Far hash mark, working left to right, back to the south end zone. Here's the shotgun snap and the handoff. They give it to Montague. Montague's got some room inside. Shook one tackler loose, still moving. He's got a first down, about a 13-yard pickup. He's dropped in between the far hash mark and numbers. It was actually Christian Gilbert on the carry, pardon me.
Boy, and
hard running.
Yeah, and
he was running it like Montague.
He really was. He moved that pile, too. After contact, he probably got 6 or 7 yards, Kyle, and I like the call there. No sweep, nothing fancy. Get the ball in the gut of your running back and let him take care of business.
Straight ahead type of running. They'll do it again. This time Gilbert trying off the right side. Angles back into the middle. Hit hard around the hip and thigh pad area and drop. Much smaller gain this time, but positive yards nonetheless. Call it a 3-yard gain on first down. 4:07 as the clock turns in the English's third quarter. It's a 1-point Altavista advantage. Colonel football on their own 37-yard line. Need to get to the 44-yard line for a first down. Shotgun formation, 2 receivers to the right. That's the wide side of the field. Here's the low snap, gobbled up by Malbach. Handoff play going nowhere. May have even lost a yard. That time the Lunenburg defensive line, full penetration. It's Raymond Alexander coming out of there, beating his chest and barking to his own sideline.
Well, the Chargers were banking on the same thing, that the Colonels had fumbled the ball and they were going to run a pretty safe play to ensure that they protected the ball, and they stopped the gaps. And nice play to stop Gilbert on that run.
That's the thing about that play-calling chess match, right? Sometimes the right move is well known by the defensive side, too, but you've still got to make it because it's the right move. 3rd and 7 coming up for the Colonels. They could use a third down pickup here. They're 1 and 3 on third down so far tonight. They put Mormon in motion. Looks like an option play to the left. Pitch goes out to Chancellor. He catches clean. Hit hard 2 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. He's shy of the first down. Wow, excellent job by the Lunenburg secondary to swarm on Chancellor Mormon. Mormon had a full head of steam, but stopped in his tracks 2 yards short over there on the far sideline.
I like the play call. Mormon's coming up a little lame.
He may need help getting off the field. Limping noticeably. He's going to try to make it to the sideline under his own power.
Well,
now he can't.
And we know Chancellor. He's a hoss.
Yeah, if he could make it, he would. He goes down in a heap there in the middle of the field. Angela Emerson and her training staff come out. Let's take an injury timeout here with 2:34 left to play in the English's Your Complete Home Center third quarter. Colonels lead by 1, 14-13, but they've got to punt it away on 4th down when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
Napa know-how.
This month at Napa, professional-grade Carlisle tools are on sale for up to 50% off. They're so well made, they may be the last tools you ever buy. Why isn't everything else made this well? Because then you'd have nothing left to fix with those new Carlisle tools. Now up to 50% off. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Some exclusions apply. Offer expires 9/30/16.
Brought to you by Napa of Altavista, proud supporter of the Altavista Colonels.
Now back to the action with Colonel Sports on 105.5 KD Country.
Altavista training staff still attending to injured Colonel Chancellor Mormon. Now he's going to try and sit up. Mormon attempted to make it to the sideline under his own power, but just couldn't. Situation on the field is a 4th and 2 coming up for Altavista. They look like they're going to drop back in a punting formation. I guess no reason why they couldn't change their mind in the timeout huddle here, Oscar. They're up 1 point. Drawback to going for it here is you're in your own territory, and you give Lunenburg great field position if you didn't get it. The first down marker rests on the 44-yard line of Altavista.
Well, and we saw Lunenburg early in the ball game try to get a hard count offsides penalty. That certainly has been a forte of the Altavista Colonels here the last 5 or 6 years.
They seem like they've always had a quarterback that was very good using the voice inflection, extending the snap count a bit to draw the other team offside. Certainly an option. That's a relatively low-risk option. If your side jumps off, you just back it up 5 yards, and then it makes your decision easier. You punt it away.
In this very game last year at Lunenburg, they had Jake Adams in the up-back position and snapped the ball to Jake.
Yep.
And was able to turn that into a first down.
Well, that's a nice hard-nosed runner to have in that up-back. Now Mormon's going to jog off, this time under his own power. Didn't need much assistance from the training staff. Still doesn't look 100%, obviously. And the Colonels will get set up to kick it away. Return man from Lunenburg. Heels are on the 17-yard line. Don't have a number identification just yet, but hopefully when the ball hits the sky, we'll see it. Malbach is deep to punt for the Colonels. Far hash mark. His toes are on the 29-yard line. Looks like full rush coming from Central-Lunenburg. McClure is the up back this time. He's going to check and see if it's good. Perfect snap to Malbach. Steps in, kicks more of a low-line drive kick. It'll bounce on the 30-yard line, gets to the 18-yard line. Now the return man has it working up the far sideline. Got some room on that far sideline as well. Now cuts it back to the numbers, hit hard at the 50-yard line. It was a good burst of speed from what I believe, Oscar, was number 13, Darrell Jones.
And Josh McClure on the stop on that play.
Very necessary stop, too. Good return, though.
Well, he tight-roped that sideline. It didn't look like he had any room.
Scraped some paint off that sideline. It looked like, you're right, he didn't have much at all.
And here comes another Altavista player limping off the field. That's Jake Adams, and that's a cramp.
Called a 32-yard return. Adams does sort of have that body language of a cramp, the stiff right leg there, going to lay down and hopefully get somebody to stretch it out. Ethan Young's going to try and race off the field. Did he get off in time? Colonels might have had too many defenders. Handoff going right up the gut, though. 6-yard pickup. Maybe the referees let the Colonels get by with one since they let Lunenburg get by with too many men and play earlier.
That's the third or fourth time that's happened tonight, and something I think the officials are kind of just letting go due to the first game, and it's hot. And
yeah, just play it like hockey. Just make sure you're kind of almost off over there. 2nd and 4 coming up for the Chargers. They're in Colonel territory here. Here comes the handoff to Moore. Moore doesn't have much that time on the right side. And it's nearly that same off-tackle play every time, Oscar, where they hand it to Moore. He follows a couple pulling linemen. It's almost student body right. It'll bring up 3rd and 4. I wouldn't be shocked to see him try and run the same play over there on the right side.
No, that or that little inside reverse that they've used so well.
It's a single wing type of look, but they don't snap it to either back. But the alignment in the setup is pretty much the same. Colonels jumped offside. That time it was the hard count from Jackie Dalton III drawing Altavista offside. It'll be 5 free yards and a first down for the Chargers. They'll move the sticks. 62 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Altavista still leading by 1, 14-13.
Well, as clean as that second quarter was, this third quarter has been equally as bad.
2 turnovers for the Colonels on offense. Some miscues in some other places as well. And perhaps a very costly penalty on 3rd down. Moore might have got a head start. Here comes a passing play from Painter, looking for Alexander over the top. He's got it at the 10-yard line. He juggled it momentarily and then falls down under his own momentum at the 6-yard line. He comes up a little gimpy, but what a great grab over the top on the same passing play that we've seen, Oscar. But that time, Alexander extended the route out a little bit, and Jackie Dalton III threw it where only he could get it.
Boy, Jackie Dalton III is a sophomore, throws left-handed. He has got a sweet little arm. He can spin the ball. That was a touch pass with a little bit of heat on it. And like you said, it was thrown where only Raymond Alexander was the player that could get to it, and he made a great catch.
Officials call a timeout to let some guys get off the field. There is an injury, pardon me. I think it's Raymond Alexander, the man that caught the pass. Just going to stay down. Let's keep it here this time and remind you about the end-of-season Carhartt sale at English's Your Complete Home Center. They're on Main Street in Altavista. Oscar and I were talking about the Orca coolers, but same thing for the Carhartt. You don't have to go to Lynchburg or Danville or Roanoke or someplace like that to get high-quality stuff. They've got great Carhartt gear and great deals on the Carhartt gear at English's Your Complete Home Center. Lunenburg has traveled okay. Didn't bring as many fans this year as Altavista brought to their place last year, but a decent-sized crowd over there in the far stands. Altavista's home crowd, 90% full, Oscar? I mean, it's a good crowd here tonight.
It is a good crowd, especially there's some other activities going on in the area. We talked about the truck and tractor pull going on, and we've been able to crack the window and hear that going on.
Sounds like they got some good pulling going on down there. Colonels get to talk things over. Mike Revis is on the field in the defensive huddle. Anytime you have an injury timeout, normally the rule is one coach can go out there and huddle with the team. Mike Sharness applauding his guys, urging them on, asking for more here in what's going to be a 1st and goal situation from the 6-yard line. Right hash mark, that's the far hash mark for us. Wide side of the field is left. Chargers marching towards Bedford Avenue on a drive that started after a good punt return. Here comes the shotgun snap. They hand it to Moore. Moore looking for pay dirt again, and I think he's in. Where's the signal from the officials? Nothing yet. Now they'll say he's short. They'll say he stopped on the 1-yard line. Deshaun Moore trying for his 3rd touchdown of the night. Dove for the end zone, but must have come up just a little shy. Bring up 2nd and 1, maybe 2nd and inches.
There's another injury timeout, official timeout.
Probably another cramp, but you never know. It could be something else. Charger player slow to get up. He is going to get up. Yeah, it is Deshaun Moore.
He had gone down in a heap earlier and had trouble getting off the field.
He'll limp off to the sideline under pretty much his own power. We've got 21.6 seconds left in the quarter, Oscar. Colonels lead by 1.
He went down on that play where he tried to get out on the wide side. Adam
That's
hit
right.
him, turned him around, and he bounced back, and pursuit continued across the field.
Yeah, he got hit hard in a pretty prone position there. Wasn't able to defend himself too much. As a running back, you normally feel pretty good if you can lower that shoulder. You feel like you're not going to take too much damage, but when you get hit from the side or you aren't able to protect yourself, that's normally when the injuries occur. Clock will roll again, down to 16 seconds. Chargers might walk this off and just let the third quarter end. They'll start the fourth quarter from the 1-yard line of the Altavista Colonels, knocking on the door here. They are. No intentions of running a play here. We've got one more quarter of regulation from Altavista High School. At the moment, the Colonels lead by 1, 14-13. Don't miss this fourth quarter on the way when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
Good food, low prices, and great service keep customers coming back for more day after day at El Cazador Mexican Restaurant in Altavista. El Cazador is now open all afternoon, so you can come by anytime, any day, 11 a.m. till 10 p.m. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, a great place to unwind and relax with friends. Open 7 days a week, Main Street, Altavista. El Cazador thanks you for your business.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
Another former Colonel that has moved on to the collegiate ranks. Our dear friend Victoria Burgess tuning in up in the Farmville area, where we'll be next week. Vic, stop by, say hello, go to the game. She's a big-time Colonel fan, and I'm sure she wants the Colonel defense to come up with a stop here, Oscar. Tall order, though. It's going to be second and goal from the 1-yard line.
That's another one. I was talking to her dad, Tracy, today about how the move-in went in Longwood. He said it might have been a tear shed or two, but said Victoria was settled in and ready to go.
Exciting stuff. Hopefully you're settled in and ready to go for football season. No, it's hot, but it's football season. Colonels lead 14-13. Not the best quarter in the world for Colonel fans, though. 2 turnovers. It did limit the damage on 1. Deshaun Moore has 2 rushing touchdowns for Central-Lunenburg, one in the first half, one in the second half. He's out of the game right now. It's number 33, Malcolm Brown, in the backfield. Second and goal from the 1. They give it to Brown. Brown is close, and now he's in. Touchdown, Malcolm Brown, and the Lunenburg Chargers have taken the lead from the Altavista Colonels on the first play of the fourth quarter. Extra point on the way. Remember, the Chargers missed 1 extra point, Oscar. We'll see if they go for 2 here. It looked like they thought about it for a moment. I think they are going for 2.
When you pull out the chart, that's what it tells you to do.
Sure. 11:55 left to play in regulation. Colonels now trail 19-14. This would be a big stop here by the Colonels defense, though, and a little more room to operate. 2-point conversion will come from the 3-yard line.
You know, the times that Lunenburg has tried to get on the edge, they've been successful, so watch for that on this play.
Same formation, shotgun wing. Oh, it's a bootleg play. Dalton Jr. looking for the end zone. Nothing doing. Cut down by a stout Colonels defense that was ready for the misdirection. That's number 6, Shaheem Pannell, holding the contain there. Let's see how big that ends up being as we go on. 11:53 left to play in the fourth quarter. Timeout here. Colonels trail 19-14. They'll get the football back when we return to 105.5 KD Country.
PCM Industrial of Altavista offers mobile welding and repair services, fully equipped service trucks and certified craftsmen, and quick response to satisfy your needs. Contact PCM Industrial at powerconstruction.com. PCM Industrial is a fully insured Class A licensed contractor, OSHA and MSHA compliant. PCM Industrial Services of Altavista wishes Coach Sharnes and the Altavista Colonels football team good luck in another winning season.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
Colonels give up the touchdown and the lead, but a nice stop on the 2-point conversion attempt, perhaps with some momentum and certainly saving themselves some points, Oscar. They only trail by 5 now, 19-14, and still basically a full quarter to work with.
Yeah, plenty of time, and Colonels did a great job. That was a little bit of a naked bootleg. Jackie Dalton rolling out. Looked like he might have decided to tuck it and run, but he had Darrell Jones running really wide open across the back of the end zone, jumping up and down, and Jones was frustrated that he didn't get the ball thrown to him, but on behalf of, really in defense of Jackie Dalton, he didn't have the opportunity. It was just too much pursuit from the Colonels.
Shaheem Pennell was the first man on the scene, but he had some company following behind him, and you're right, Dalton the third, really, no chance to throw the football. Call that a 51-yard scoring drive for Central-Lunenburg, capped off by the 1-yard Malcolm Brown touchdown run. Third rushing touchdown of the game. Deshaun Moore had the first two, and he set them up with a couple nice runs to get him down close to the end zone.
Well, and that big 25-yard punt return that got the ball to midfield was huge as well.
Sure was. Kickoff coming now. It's Benjamin Atkins doing the honors for Central-Lunenburg. I suppose you still got to be somewhat mindful of an onside kick if you're the Altavista front line. Here comes the run-up from Atkins. He's kicking left to right. He will boot it deep. Going to end up in the hands of number 1, Jacob Adams. Bobbles momentarily, picks it up on the 11-yard line. Big head of steam and a hole through the middle. Spin move, and he's free. He's across the 35, now the 40. Down the near sideline, shoved out of bounds at the 50-yard line. Nice return by Jacob Adams that started a bit auspiciously with the bobble, but he scooped it up, and he was off to the races before you knew it.
You know, that's not uncommon. A lot of times when you're a defender and you're running down in the lane and you see that bobble, you relax in your lane a little bit and start to go towards the ball, and that very well may have been what happened is Jake was able to get to the edge, started up the middle, bounced to the edge. The one thing I did see out of Jake that I didn't like on that play was he continued to carry the ball in his right hand, which is the inside. If he'd have switched it to it left, that would have allowed him to do his stiff arm and maybe get a few more yards.
Great starting position for the Colonels here. They'll scrimmage from the Lunenburg 45-yard line. 11:43 left to play in the Englishes, your complete home center. Fourth quarter, 19-14. Colonels trail, but a nice return set up by Jacob Adams. McClure goes in motion as a blocking back. They'll hand it off to Shaheem Pennell. Pennell's got some room down the left side. They're not going to catch Shaheem Pennell. Touchdown, Colonels. 45-yard scoring run from Shaheem Pennell. It had been mainly Montague and Gilbert, but all of a sudden the three-headed rushing attack of the Colonels comes to life on a scoring play. What a way to answer right there. Shaheem Pennell, 45-yard scoring strike. Colonels lead by 1 again. Wonder if they'll go for 2.
Boy, and certainly there was a huge hole opened up on the left side of that offensive line that allowed Shaheem, and we've talked about for 2 years now, wanting to see Shaheem get in some open space and see what would happen. We knew, and we were not disappointed.
More than enough open space there for the junior, number 6, the Dream, Shaheem Pennell. Great blocking. You said it, man. I mean, McClure with a nice block. Stephen Farmer was over there on that left side, too. And it looks like the Colonels do want to go for 2. Need another member out there. Jordan Spinner will head out as the wideout on the far side from us. Colonels are going to have to burn a timeout.
Well, what a shame, too, because this left side, you had Lawrence Galliard and Chancellor Norman with really one defender guarding those 2 players.
Let's keep it right here, Oscar. This timeout may not end up being that long, as it was just a personnel issue. It's tricky sometimes for football teams at all levels. When a guy gets hurt, it's hard to know if he's still in there or not, and sometimes the backup doesn't know if the starter's hurt. Sometimes it's just a miscommunication over there on the sideline, and that's what happened there, and it does cause the Colonels to burn a timeout. You think a right move there to take the timeout and save the 5 yards, even though it's a 2-point conversion try?
Yeah, especially because if you are going to continue to go, if you were going for 1, the 5 yards is no big deal on the extra point. But if you're going for 2, 5 yards is critical. I do like the call, and you alluded to it. There have been so many different combinations tonight with people coming out, cramping, running people in, running people out, that the set team hasn't, designated squad hasn't been on the field together a whole lot during these special team events.
Yeah, I mean, a starting lineup in football on both sides of the ball is kind of pointless, because how many plays does the starting lineup even play together? A handful, maybe? I mean, guys are always swapping in and out, especially at the single A level with guys going both ways and special teams.
Well, and when you've got the depth that the Colonels have at offensive line, you're able to, that's been a benchmark for years, and they continue to keep those guys fresh. They'll run 3-4 guys in and out virtually on every drive.
20-19. Colonels lead again by 1. They're going to go for 2 here with 11:34 left on the clock. Of course, this is an untimed down. This is a 2-point conversion play. They'll snap it from the middle of the field, 3-yard line. Malback checks out his receivers, looks to the left, now gets in the low crouch for the snap. Fakes the handoff. He wants to roll left and throw. Pass was too low, incomplete. He was looking for either McClure or Mormon, but couldn't find either. And the Colonels will have to settle for just 6. They do lead again, though, 20-19. Timeout, and it'll be Lunenburg football when you come back. 11:34 left to play in regulation on 105.5 KD Country.
Get on the winning team and come find one of a kind. Shoppers, did you know Altavista has several unique antique stores? Check out the great selection at Mad Biddy's, 105 Wood Lane Road, or stop by Vintage on Broad to see where the American pickers have been. Try the Main Street Trading Company, offering unique home accents, jewelry, and more. An invitation from the Altavista Office of Economic Development. More information online at altavistaontrack.net.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
Much for spending part of your Friday night with us here. I'm Kyle Haney. He's Oscar Briggs. We're getting treated to a very nice high school football game. Colonels have grabbed the lead back, OB, 20-19. Set up by the nice return from Jacob Adams, and then a patented, old-school 1-yard drive. It was a 45-yard scoring run from Shaheem Pennell. Opened up very nicely by the blocking from the blocking back, Josh McClure, and then also the offensive line. And got to give the receivers out on the edge their just due as well.
That's been a hallmark of this Colonels team since 2008, 2009 as well. Is the receivers do an outstanding job of blocking downfield.
Coach Mike Sharness, always quick to credit Coach Cliff Lee for what he does with the receivers. They're a blocking first type of receiving core. They love to catch passes, what receiver doesn't. But they know they got to block to stay on the field, and they do a great job with that. Nick Boley on to kick off again. Here comes the run up and the boot. This time it's a little bit shorter. Fielded on it'll bounce back to the deep return man on the 16-yard line. This is Malcolm Brown. Nice jersey tackle there by Traquan Farmer. He just got the left hand on the jersey and would not let go. That takes pretty good grip strength. When a guy's got a head of steam like that to lasso him down.
And we're used to calling Traquan's name on special teams, and really the first opportunity we've had to call him tonight. Nice job by Traquan. Like you said, he just, in passing, grabbed that jersey with his left hand and absolutely refused to let go.
I mean, you just a 160-pound back like Malcolm Brown is, with a head of steam, the human hand shouldn't be able to hold on like that, but Traquan did. Here comes a running play. It's back to Deshaun Moore, who's back in the game. Started right, cut back to the left, gained some yards over there, but not much, maybe 1.5 or 2. Clock rolls with 11:13 left to play in regulation. Colonels lead by 1 again. They led 14-13 for a while. Now they're back up 20-19. Deshaun Moore has 2 rushing touchdowns for Lunenburg. Malcolm Brown has the other. Colonels have scored 3 rushing touchdowns with 3 different backs. Comes a handoff play again. I think it's Moore. There's nothing doing inside, though. Met by about 5 black jerseys and thrown backwards. Stephen Farmer with a big fist pump. He was the first guy on the scene. Gets congratulations from Matt Aiken and Josh McClure. This is going to set up 3rd and 9 for Lunenburg. Big play coming here. 10:36 left to play, OB. It's a 1-point Altavista lead. They're on defense right now.
When the Colonels are packed in.
Yeah, they are. Same shotgun formation. Dalton, the third, fakes the run. Now he's going to take off. It's not there. It's Matt Aiken on the stop in the backfield. Did not fall for the fake handoff. This will bring up 4th and about 12. Punting formation for Central-Lunenburg. Great job by the Colonels D.
Boy, the Colonels scored, and then the defense responds in kind. Great stop there, 3 and out. Unless something dramatic happens here, the Colonels should have some good field position coming out of this series.
Rolling clock gets under 10 minutes now. Colonels with a 1-point lead. Malback and Gilbert go deep to return. They stand on their own 40-yard line. Wonder if the Colonels will bring the full rush here on the punt block opportunity, or if they'll just set up the return.
Historically, over the last few years, Coach Sharness hadn't really done a lot of setup on the return. He really goes for the block, put the pressure on the punter.
Lunenburg was late getting set up, and they took too much time. Delay of game. I believe it's the 2nd or 3rd one on Lunenburg today.
Well, they had the second one. The first one was coming right out of the first quarter into the second quarter.
That's right.
I think that's the 3rd one.
This might change your decision if you're Coach Sharness about how aggressively do we come after this kick. Or perhaps maybe you just play it as, well, our return will be that much better if we want to set up a return. Snap is back. That got done quickly.
Wow.
It did go after it. Montague just bulldozed through one blocker. Kick is not a great one. It'll land harmlessly on the 45-yard line and roll to the other 47 or 48-yard line. Colonels will take over there with 9:22 left to play in the game.
I want to talk about what Jonathan Montague, with the call that you just made. And when Lunenburg lines up to punt, they have 3 up backs as a wall to protect the punter. Jonathan went in on the left side and just absolutely blew one kid up.
Yeah, it's a spread punt formation that you would see a lot in college. You don't see it any in the pros. Everybody in the pros normally goes with a tight punting formation. But everybody's spread out across the line, and then the 3 blocking backs about 5 yards in front of the punter. And you're right, one guy, it's going to look like he was in a 2-car crash after Montague hit him full speed. Of course, I'm sure Montague felt some of that pain too, but you get the impression Johnny's the kind of guy that likes a little pain out there on the gridiron. Spread formation, 2 receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top. Handoff play going to Gilbert. Gilbert doesn't have anything. Thrown backwards, it might be a loss of 1 on the first down play. 9:14 left to go in the fourth quarter. It's a 20-19 Altavista lead. Their football was 2nd and 11 coming up. Trainers for Lunenburg headed out on the field again. It's an Altavista player that's down. Looks like another cramp. I mean, hard to speculate from up here, but it just has the appearance of a cramp again, doesn't it, Oscar?
It does.
Let's take a timeout, though, while they work on the injured player. Colonels lead by 1 with 9:04 left to play in the English's fourth quarter. You're listening to High School Sports on 105.5 KD Country.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving families since 1905.
Life is full of opportunities to show someone we love them. One such opportunity is the funeral or memorial service. Finch and Finch helps you celebrate the relationships they shared and honors the memory of your loved one.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving families since 1905.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
Injury timeout still in progress here in the fourth quarter. 9:04 left to go in the Englishes, your complete home center fourth quarter. See them on Main Street in Altavista, your home for Orca coolers. When you need to stay cool, it doesn't get much cooler than the Orca. Oscar, Colonel's leading by 1, but this score here is somewhat of a must score. I mean, it's not even an insurance score when you only lead by 1. You need to make it a true lead, if you will, and 6 points and then an extra point would create the 8-point advantage. That would be huge for Altavista, and I think they would kick the extra point if they scored here.
I would agree.
9:04 left to go in the fourth quarter, though, so even if they do score, Lunenburg's not out of this thing. I doubt that the Colonels are going to be able to go on a 9-minute drive here when they've only got to traverse, 47 yards there on their own 46, so take that back. They need to go 54 yards. Remember, math wasn't my strong suit.
No. Continuing shout-outs, Wayne Short. His father's in the press box talking about Wayne Short, who was a big part of the double championship team, back-to-back championship teams. And
remember the game down at Hayside? It seemed like it was Wayne Short in on just stop after stop after stop. Yeah.
And his dad's in the box, but Wayne's at VCU and doing extremely well. So if he's listening, congratulations, son, and continue to make the Colonel family proud.
It really is nice to be able to broadcast at kdcountry.com. We've been doing that for about 10 years now, you think, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe not quite 10 years, but at least 8 or 9, and it really has opened up so many more fans, giving them the opportunity to listen. You said your sister listens across the pond over there in England from time to time. We've got listeners from all over the country, all over the world. And, hey, you can listen to kdcountry.com if you're just right down the street, too. It's just a nice option to have.
And you know, if you come to a game, bring your headset, bring your earbuds, and stick on the TuneIn app and listen here, and maybe it'll enhance the game for you. May not.
Before he got into the event staffing business, Robert Duff used to do that. He used to listen to the TuneIn app while he was at the ball games. Eleanor Haney, our sound engineer, informs me that I was wrong. Streaming since 2000. That's 16 years. Here comes a jet sweep to Jake Adams. He's got some room across the 50. Tried to cut back inside at the 45 and fell down under his own power. But still, a nice pickup. It looks like Jake is right at the first down marker. They may have to eyeball this, or they may even measure, but it's going to bring up third down.
Oh, my goodness.
Not a great spot there.
That was an awful spot.
It's going to be, no, they did. They signaled first down. They just signaled first down. It did look like they moved the ball back momentarily, but then I think another referee said, nah, you missed it by a yard or two.
That's Jason Morgan's the one that stepped in and actually moved the ball up to where the actual spot was. Nice job of officiating by him.
8:29 left to play in the fourth quarter. Colonels have a fresh set of downs and the football from the near side hash mark. Wide side of the field is the right. Here comes the snap. Handoff to Jonathan Montague. Montague never really got started. He was just tiptoeing his way there, looking for a hole. And as the lineman got thrown backwards, Seth Hutcherson, he just got pushed into Johnny.
Well, Tevin Pearman got just absolutely blown up onto his backside, and then Jonathan couldn't get over him around him.
Bring up 2nd and 10, maybe even 2nd 10 and a half officially. 7:50 left to play.
Can you have half a yard officially? 10 and a half officially?
Officially or unofficially, you've got to have some yardage to gain.
Sure.
I don't know. I kind of got stuck there. Traquan Farmer asking Mateo Malbeck exactly what the play is. Now Stephen Farmer will turn around and do the same. Colonel's taking some time to get this one set up. Now the linemen are down in the three-point stance and ready to go. Malbeck calling for the snap. A little low, and he's lost it again. Now he reaches down to pick it up. He's free across the 50, trying to get back to the original line of scrimmage. Sidesteps inbounds, and then, he spiked the football on the sideline in frustration, and they're going to flag him for it. He was just frustrated, I think, with himself, not with a call by the official, but the official didn't like the spike through the flag. This is going to back Altavista up a bunch, probably 15 yards. If it does, it's going to set up, 2nd and long. I guess Lunenburg, if it's a personal foul after the play kind of thing, they don't even have the option to deny it. Yeah, decline it, pardon me. Yeah, it's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. The yardage is going to get stepped off no matter what. Yeah. 7:24 left to play in the fourth.
A couple of things.
Interesting.
Yep.
Going to call it a delay of game penalty.
Which I like to call.
That seems right. They're still going to step off the yardage. It's 5 yards, though, instead. It's a 1-point Colonel lead, 20-19. Now the football rests exactly on the 50-yard line.
I can assure you when the flag was thrown, it was not a delayed call.
3rd and long, though. We'll call it 3rd and 16. Lunenburg secondary going to back off a little bit, expecting pass. Malbeck does pass. It's thrown, batted off McClure's hands, and then falls down. Number 24, John McGrath, nearly had a chance for his second turnover of the night. He picked up a fumble earlier. He had his hands on that errant pass, that deflected pass, rather, but couldn't pull it in. It's an incomplete ball. Now it's 4th and 16, and it looks like the Colonels will have to punt it away again.
7:09 remaining in the game. Colonels leading 20-19.
Colonels look to the sideline for the play.
The Colonels have done a good job defensively of keeping Central-Lunenburg from reeling off the big play. So the good news is that if they can get a nice punt off here and get good coverage, then the Lunenburg will be working with a long field.
The snaps have been good. The blocking has been good. Malbeck has booted a couple good ones and one indifferent one in there. This one's nice. It's kind of a sideways saucer kick. It'll land on the 20-yard line. This is Malcolm Brown. Started left, shakes one tackler loose, then hit hard. Flag comes in from long range. It's probably a block in the back situation, I would think. Jonathan Montague in on the stop. Had some help from number 1, Jacob Adams, and number 52, Stephen Farmer.
Boy, that flag came in from 20 or 15 yards away. That was a nice throw.
Guy's got a good arm.
Yeah,
sign him up. It's on the run, too. Most shortstops can't make that throw. 20-19.
And with that
some
spot,
center fielders can.
With that spot, it should be half the distance. If it is indeed on Lunenburg, it'll be half the distance. That'll put them at the 10-yard line with 6:57 remaining here in the ballgame.
Flag rests at about the 19-yard line. So I think you're right about somewhere in the area of the 10-yard line. Here comes the call. It is a block in the back.
Actually, it'll be a 9.5-yard penalty officially.
Are we into this again? It's more of a philosophical debate than a football debate, I think.
That's right.
6:57 left to play. In the English is your complete home center, fourth quarter. 20-19. Colonels lead by 1. With under 7 minutes to go now, Oscar, you can make a case that if the Colonels' defense gets a stop, Lunenburg might not get the football back, or at least not with much time.
Let's make some noise for the Colonels
Lunenburg still with 2 timeouts.
2 timeouts. Same formation for Lunenburg pretty much all night. 2 tight ends, a wing back, a blocking back, and a running back in a tight shotgun formation. Handoff play goes to Deshaun Moore. He's cut down on a solo tackle by Jonathan Montague around the 11-yard line.
You know, if you're Lunenburg, you got to be aware of the clock situation as well.
Yeah.
Moore had the opportunity there to possibly get out of bounds. Jonathan did a nice job of corralling him, keeping him in bounds.
I mean, by the time this ball is snapped, it's going to be around 6 minutes and 25 seconds, maybe even a little bit less. Clock shows 6:27 right now. Offense is set up, though. Here comes the snap from Jackie Dalton III. He wants to pass. Left-hander set up in the pocket. Now he steps up, flushed out of the pocket. Hit hard around the line of scrimmage, then swarmed on by the Colonel's defense. He'll pick up a few yards, and maybe considering the great coverage downfield, a few yards was the best he could get there. It does actually set up 3rd and 5.
Nice coverage in the secondary, not allowing any of the Central-Lunenburg receivers to get behind them.
It's a straight drop-back pass that time.
And Jonathan Montague did a nice job maintaining coverage at the line of scrimmage, and then he shot the gap and was headed towards Dalton.
And Montague playing a defensive line spot. Here comes the handoff. Inside reverse now. They try to go to Malik Foster. Nothing doing. Great stop by the Colonel's defense there. He does pick up a yard, but he's at least 2.5 yards short of the first down marker. Now possibly Will Thomas thinking about going for this, but he's going to send out the punt unit. New personnel coming onto the field. Lunenburg's going to punt it away with the rolling clock. 5:25 left to play in the fourth quarter.
They did this in the first half, and they try to get the hard count offsides. The Colonels did jump one time on 3rd down. Got to be disciplined here.
Got to watch the football up front for sure. Spread punt formation again. Nobody back deep to return for the Colonels.
And I like that.
Here's a snap, a little bit high. Lunenburg will punt it away. Gilbert's not even going to bother to go after it. It's not a great kick, and it takes an Altavista bounce and another Altavista bounce. Going backwards, they'll down it on the 34-yard line. Colonel's going to set up shop in great field position.
I think he had more spin than your pitching wedge.
No kidding. I can't spin it back that much. Maybe you could in your heyday. 4:55 left to play in the football game, Oscar. Colonels lead 20-19. To run off 3 minutes or 4 minutes on this clock would be great. To score would be even better.
That's right.
Hanging on the football is priority number 1, though, above both of those two things, don't you think?
Yeah, I think that's the key, is to hold on to the football. And it's going to be extremely difficult for Lunenburg to flip the field on the Colonels.
There's been 8 third down opportunities for Lunenburg. They've converted 2 of them. 2 and 8. They did convert 1 fourth down opportunity. Flag comes out on the play. It's going to back Altavista up 5 yards. Legal substitution by Altavista. Broke the huddle with too many men, I think. Did they even huddle, though? Anyway, Colonels will set up 1st and 15. Now the ball is resting on the 39-yard line. 4:55 remaining in the English's fourth quarter. It's a 1-point Colonel advantage. 2 receivers spread out to the wide side. That's the left side of the field. Low snap. Ballback scoops it up and hands off to Shaheem Pennell. Pennell is on the move again. Outside, and he's down the left sideline. Nobody is catching the dream. Number 6, Shaheem Pennell with his 2nd long run of the night. This time a 39-yarder. He had a 45-yarder earlier, a 39-yarder this time. And he's the 3rd man in line at the running back spot. Incredible blocking out there on the left side again, though, Oscar Briggs. 26-19, Colonels lead. They are going to kick the extra point now, it looks like.
Well, that's the right call. They're up by 7. Get the extra point through, and you're up by 8. And then you're really forcing Lunenburg's hand.
There's a Lunenburg player down beyond the end zone. That's Tanique Chavis. He's rolling around in pain. And we will take a timeout here during the injury break. 4 minutes and 44 seconds left. Colonels just extended their lead from the fast feet of Shaheem Pennell. They're up 26-19. Extra point on the way when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
What do basketball, choir, drama club, and marching band all have in common? They're all high school activities that offer learning opportunities not necessarily found in the classroom. They take up just a fraction of a typical Virginia high school's budget, and they go a long way to giving young people the tools they need to thrive. High school activities, they're more than extracurricular. They're extra important, too.
Brought to you by English Construction Company with offices in Lynchburg.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
Colonels have needed some big plays, and they've come twice from long runs by way of Shaheem Pennell, number 6, the junior. Montague and Gilbert have been getting the bulk of the carries at the running back spot, Oscar, but I think it's official. I think this is a three-headed monster right here with these three guys.
Well, it is, and you've got, the old thunder and lightning routine with Jonathan providing the thunder and the other two guys with some lightning, and certainly you can't mention that three-headed monster at running back without giving them all the credit in the world to that offensive line, who have really, for all intents and purposes, despite the score, have really dominated the line of scrimmage against Central-Lunenburg. Now, the Colonels have shot themselves in the foot several times with penalties and 2 turnovers, so clean those up, and I think Coach Shaughness is very pleased with how the offensive line has played tonight.
Yeah, honestly, if you take away the 2 Altavista turnovers and the penalties, it's probably a pretty dominating performance for the Colonels. Now, obviously, you can't take them away.
Right.
And I think, again, to my point earlier, most coaches are going to expect some of those mistakes in the first week. Week 1, I don't think any football coach, professional, college, high school, Pee Wee League, nobody expects, hey, the first game, we're going to come out there with no penalties, no turnovers. We're going to play perfect. That's a little bit unrealistic.
The first quarter was sloppy. The third quarter was sloppy. The second and fourth quarters have been very, very good for the Colonels.
Sure have. And you mentioned that O-line. You mentioned the blocking from those guys, the blocking from the receivers. Colonels have 4 rushing touchdowns from 3 different people. Gilbert scored the first one from 11 yards out. Jonathan Montague scored the next from 9 yards out. Shaheem Pennell with a 45-yard strike, and now, most recently, a 39-yard rushing touchdown. Nick Boley on for the kick. Looks like number 1, Jacob Adams will hold. Snap is a little high. Adams skies up to get it down. I think they kicked it in there.
That?
What a play by Jacob Adams to save a point. And Nick Boley with the kick. Perfect on the evening. Colonels lead 27-19. Maybe last gasp time for Central-Lunenburg. When you come back, we've got 4:44 left to play in the ball game on 105.5 KD Country.
No one knows trucks like we know trucks. Come see us and you'll agree. From small to tall, we've got it all. Highview Motors, GMC. Come on in. Bring the family. See your friends at Highview Motors. Highview Motors, GMC. From small to tall, we've got it all. Highview Motors, GMC.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
Knew we were going to have fun tonight on opening night, Oscar. Wasn't sure we'd get a great ball game, but this certainly has fit the bill. It's been back and forth. Colonels led for a while 14-13, then they trailed. They got up 20-19, and now 27-19 after a scoring drive of one play, 39 yards. Colonels defense set it up, too. The 3-and-out down here, deep in Lunenburg territory. The punt was not a very good one. And then the Colonels offense did the rest.
I continue the shout-outs.
Please.
April and Larry Morris in Kennesaw, Georgia, down there with daughter Sydney. I'm sure getting ready for a Liberty volleyball match. They're listening. Appreciate you guys following us.
That's exciting stuff there. Another former Colonel on to the collegiate ranks and very successful as a Division I volleyball player. How good was Sydney Morris out there in the volleyball court? It was dangerous to be on the other side of the net.
She was impressive. Is impressive.
Right, that's right. Kickoff team set up. Nick Boley will do the honors again. Looks like Malcolm Brown, back deep to return on the one side. And then Deshaun Moore on the other side. Boley will do the honors and boot it away. Sort of a line drive, angling kick again. It's not going to stay out of bounds. It went out at about the 22-yard line. Place it went out doesn't really matter. They're either going to spot it on the 35 or make Altavista re-kick it.
You know, one of the things that I really like about the performance tonight is the way that the Colonels have responded from a competitor perspective. Each time that Lunenburg, they took the lead and Altavista responded, and then Altavista got up, and then Lunenburg scored and got close again, and the Colonels responded again. They've showed a lot of maturity and a lot of competitiveness. I like that from what comparison to last year.
Yeah, it's a team that needed some seasoning from last year, and certainly I think you hit the nail on the head with the way they've responded during some adverse times when they've needed to make some big plays. They have. And there was a time there with back-to-back turnovers that they needed to hold on to the football, and they did just that. Shotgun formation. Here comes a reverse play. Malcolm Brown sprinting out to the left side. Convoy of blockers in front of him. He turns the corner at the 40-yard line. Spun around and out of bounds around the 44-yard line. It's probably enough for first down yardage. He may have just come up a yard shy.
4:29, 4:28. Clock continues to run. Colonel's leading 27-19. Plenty of time for Lunenburg. No panic yet. And again, another opportunity for them. When they got out on the edge, they were able to pick up that first down. Colonels have not really found an answer for that yet. Look for Lunenburg to exploit that more on this drive.
First down play again. This time it's Deshaun Moore. He charges up the middle, gets around the 50-yard line. Colonel's pawing at the football like maybe they're trying to jar it loose, but he's down. Stephen Farmer in on the stop, along with number 3, Mateo Malback. It's a 5-yard gain. Clock now shows 4:05 and continues to roll. You're right. The Chargers have a lot of time, but if you're Central-Lunenburg, you can't assume that you're going to get the football back. You know, if you don't score here or have to punt it away, that kind of thing, this is probably your last chance. Running play again. It's Deshaun Moore. Tried to duck under a tackle and was moderately successful. Got back to the line of scrimmage, maybe 1 other yard. Jonathan Montague, number 2 on the stop. Also, number 75, Melton Caleb on the stop. And Stephen Farmer was in there, too.
And Dalton never got that ball into Moore's gut. It was on his hip, and he was having a tough time. He was lucky to hold on to the ball that time and really never could get ahead of steam. Nice job by the Colonels stopping Moore on that play.
3rd and 4 coming up for Central-Lunenburg. Big-time defensive play here for Altavista.
3:15 remaining. They're in 4-down territory.
I might be overstating it, but this might be the ball game here. Here comes the handoff to Deshaun Moore again. Tried to sift his way through the defense and couldn't make it. Might have gained a half a yard, but not much else. Looked like Matt Aiken was running him down from the backside. Sort of slowed him down and let the rest of the team get in there and tackle him. We'll call it 4th and a long 3. And certainly Lunenburg going to go for it here. They huddle up about 7 yards deep. Colonel's going to sub some defensive personnel in.
If I'm Central-Lunenburg, I don't see it. I'm looking for Alexander. I don't see him on the field, though.
I don't either. He got injured beginning of this 4th quarter. Here comes the 4th down play. They had movement up front. This play stopped. Blown dead because of a timeout. Lunenburg did call the timeout in time. We'll take the timeout, too. When you come back, Central-Lunenburg has a 4th and 3, and they need to get it. They trail 27-19. 2 minutes and 41 seconds remain in the ball game on 105.5 KD Country.
Compassionate Care Choices, Autumn Care, 24-hour skilled nursing, inpatient, outpatient, physical, occupational, and speech therapies. Autumn Care invites you to tour their facility in 2016, receiving the bronze quality by the American Healthcare Association. 5-star rating by Centers for Medicare, Medicaid Services. Autumn Care, a member of Sabre Healthcare Group, serving Altavista and surrounding areas since 1989.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
Lunenburg has broken their timeout huddle. They're ready to go, pretty much lined up in formation. Colonel's taking a little bit more time. It's a 4th and 3 and long, we'll call it. Chargers need to get just past the 45-yard line. They're in Altavista territory. They'll snap this ball from the Colonel's 48. 2 minutes and 41 seconds remain in the ball game. Lunenburg trailing by 8 points here. Same formation, double tight end and some wings. Here comes a passing play. Throwing, intercepted, picked off, and it's Shaheem Pinnell again, and he looks like he has eyes to go to the end zone again. He's down the near sideline, got some blockers in front, and nobody stands in the way of Shaheem Pinnell. Touchdown on the interception. It's a 70-yard defensive scoring strike from Altavista. It came on 4th down. You could have made a case that he should have just batted it away. But when you have that kind of speed, why not take a try at the end zone again? His 3rd of the night.
Wow. And again, we talk about the transition. The Colonels did a great job on the interception, going from defense to offense, going from defending to engaging in the blocks, and gave him several opportunities, several lanes he could have gone down. Nice job by Shaheem.
Oh, they turned in to offense very quick. Those defensive players, when they knew the interception was there, they got out front and threw some serious blocks. Shaheem Pinnell his third scoring touchdown of the night, his third of the half, Mr. Briggs.
We talked about it last year. We kept waiting and waiting, and it never happened. And certainly tonight's a coming-out party for Shaheem Pennell.
Got in there a little bit in the playoffs, and we saw him actually more his freshman year than we did last year, his sophomore year. Of course, he played on the junior varsity team both seasons. Now, as a junior, it would appear that there is no slowing down the dream, Shaheem Pennell. Football finally gets thrown back in there. I don't know where it came from. Most teams will use a different ball to kick with, but some people just use the same ball they had on offense. They're looking at another football. Now that ball is just going to get sent behind the goalpost there. Don't even get us started on the football difficulties here, the actual football itself. It looks like Adams is ready for the hold and Boley's ready for the kick. This time the snap much better. Line drive boot from Nick Boley is no good. Looked like he might have pulled it to the left. Either way, it's a big-time score, and it might put the game out of reach. Colonel's lead, 33-19. 2 minutes and 25 seconds left for the Central-Lunenburg Chargers to mount a comeback. We'll step aside here for a quick timeout on 105.5 KD Country.
Altavista High School football is brought to you by Steve Farmer Auto Sales. Steve Farmer Auto Sales, where there's always a good selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. And they're priced right with financing available. See Steve Farmer Auto Sales, 1112 Main Street, Altavista. The next time you get ready to make a change. Steve Farmer Auto Sales, best deals on wheels.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
Colonels have really responded well in this second half. 3 touchdowns from Shaheem Pennell, a 45-yard rushing touchdown, a 39-yard rushing touchdown, and then the latest, a 70-yard interception return for a touchdown. Gilbert and Montague had rushing touchdowns in the second quarter for Altavista. They lead 33-19. Lunenburg now, Oscar, back really to the wall. Wonder if we'll see them spread it out more in a conventional spread and just sort of throw caution to the wind and try and get the ball up and down the field via the pass.
I think you got to, if you're Altavista, you got to look for Raymond Alexander. He's going to be the main focus here for Lunenburg, trailing by 2 scores.
Colonel's huddled up 5 yards behind the kickoff. Ball is stationed on the tee right now at the 40-yard line. Nick Boley counting everybody off, making sure everybody's there. Colonel's defense just has to, they can give up some yards. They just need to make sure Lunenburg doesn't score quickly. Got to prevent a kickoff return for a touchdown here. That would get the Chargers right back where they want to be. 33-19. Altavista on top. 2:25 left to play in the ball game. Subway post-game show. When you come back, we'll have plenty of scores. There's a bunch of good area games going on right now. Kick was fielded short on the 30-yard line, then plowed ahead to the 37-yard line. Looked like number 7, Lawrence Galliard, on the tackle. Looked like also Tevin Pierman was in the area too. And now it's 1st and 10 from the far hash mark. Lunenburg will scrimmage with 2:25 left to play. In the English is your complete home center, 4th quarter. Briggs, I know Amherst had taken a slim lead over Salem, 42-40.
Boy, what a ball game.
It's a battle there, yeah. Keep an eye on that one and a bunch of other games as well. Here comes the toss play. They toss it out to Deshaun. Pardon me, that was Malcolm Brown, or was it Deshaun Moore?
Deshaun Moore.
It was Deshaun Moore.
Lawrence Galliard in on that stop.
2nd and 7. One Colonel down, I think just stretching, though, not injured.
Well, he's cramping.
Well, yeah. I think you're right. The officials may tell him, hey, you can stretch for a second, but if you stay down there much longer, you're going to have to leave.
Especially the official was backing up and didn't see him sitting there, and he almost fell. So
it looked like a prank you play on somebody when you get behind them and the buddy pushes them over.
That's old school.
It is. They are going to tell number 75, Melton Caleb, that he has to go. And he will jog off under his own power. I don't think it was a bad cramp. I think he just wanted to get down there and stretch it out a little bit. He'll do so on the sideline. Maybe he's even tying his shoe. 2nd and 7 coming up for the Chargers.
Bunny ears, that's what he was doing. Exactly right.
Yep. They're running out of time. 2:07 left to play Here's a handoff to Deshaun Brown again. It's Lawrence Galliard again on the tackle. Deshaun Moore, pardon me.
I don't know how many carries Moore's got tonight, but it's a ton.
He's got a few. Melton Caleb will check right back in the game.
And there just doesn't seem to be any urgency.
No, they're huddling up. I mean, they were going no huddle for most of the first half, and now Lunenburg choosing to huddle up. They've got the wristbands on. They can get the plays in no huddle if they so choose. It was first down yardage picked up. Here comes a little toss play. Quarterback ended up being the lead blocker. Running back thrown backwards hard. Pinnell's in there on the stop. So is Christian Gilbert. Mateo Malback was around as well. It's a 5-yard pickup.
A little puzzling that they're not trying to throw the ball or something.
No, if this is Coach Will Thomas waving the white flag for Central-Lunenburg, but if you could get a quick score, you could go for the onside kick.
2.5 minutes left. You're trailing by 14. Why would you throw in the Yeah, I'm a little puzzled.
They give it to Malcolm Brown. He's cut down in the backfield. Pardon me, after about a 1-yard gain. Nice surge to get in there by Lawrence Galliard. Again, gosh, Galliard's had about 4 or 5 tackles in the last 6 plays.
Yeah, he's been the man here on this drive.
3rd and 3 coming up. Lunenburg has not been good on 3rd down. Colonel's defense is deserving of some of the credit for shutting them down. Double wing, double tight formation. Here comes the toss play again. It's Deshaun Moore. He surges ahead, got enough for the first down and a little bit extra all the way to the 31-yard line. Now they're moving the sticks. Doing it on the ground, though, and like you said, Oscar, you might think with 44 seconds left that they'd take a few shots deep in the end zone. Who are we to second guess?
Well, that's what we do.
That's a good point. I mean, we're up here. We got to talk about something, right? We can talk about how good the Colonels have been, particularly in this 4th quarter. They had some troubles in the 3rd quarter. Another toss sweep kind of play up the left tackle. 9-yard gain. There's a flag that came out late. Looked like a couple Colonels and a couple Chargers were doing some extracurricular activities, a wrestling match away from the actual ball carrier, and that will generally draw the negative attention of the officials. Traquan Farmer was late getting off the field again, too, and they didn't throw a flag.
He was 5 yards from being...
Maybe that's an unwritten rule.
Personal foul against the Colonels. That's on...
They'll step this off against Altavista. He was close to first down yardage anyway. It was probably a 9-yard pickup. Farmer will come off. Stephen Farmer, that is. Multiple Farmers on the team. Traquan Farmer already off the field. Stephen Farmer off the field. Both of them are very, very important players to this Colonel team.
And Coach Sean has just counseled him.
Double tight end, double wing formation. No room for the running back to go. Just a big clog of bodies in the middle, and now a timeout will be used by Central-Lunenburg with 16.7 seconds left to play. Let's take it with them. Colonels lead 33-19. Looks like they're going to grab the lead. Make sure you come back, though, to 105.5 KD Country. Introducing D.L. Bryant Heating and Cooling. A name you've grown to trust, Donnie Bryant is back with D.L. Bryant Heating and Cooling. As an American Standard dealer, D.L. Bryant Heating has the tools and the talent to handle all of your heating and cooling issues, large or small. Call 841-1580. That's 841-1580 for D.L. Bryant Heating and Cooling. Call 841-1580 for a name you can trust, Donnie Bryant and D.L. Bryant Heating and Cooling.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
So glad that you have joined us on a Friday night, week 1 of the high school football season. So great to be back in our 54th season, Oscar. Doesn't seem like that long ago that we started.
No.
Are you 54 years old?
No comment.
Yeah, don't comment on that. You're right. I shouldn't have asked that. 2nd and 10 coming up. Here's the toss play to Malcolm Brown. He's going to try the far sideline, slipped and fell down. Hadn't been many problems with slipping on the turf, but that time maybe just a little bit of condensation out there. Or maybe he just wasn't under control as he tried to cut back. That's the ball game. That's going to be the final play of the game. A big win for the Altavista Colonels. A game that they trailed in the second half. They produced big in the 4th quarter. 3 touchdowns from Shaheem Pinnell in the second half. We'll talk about that and so much more on the Subway postgame show. It's a 33-19 win for the home team, the Altavista Colonels. 1-0 on the 2016 season. Come back and join us for the Subway postgame show on 105.5 KD Country.
It's cold in here. Will your heating system keep you warm this winter, or will you spend a cold evening shivering under the covers? Have your heating system inspected today by Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling. Kent Tyree has over 20 years experience and specializes in heating, air, plumbing, and electrical. Licensed and bonded. Call for an appointment today. 309-2266. 309-2266. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling.
Here's some valuable information when buying your dream home. I'm Tracy Gallahan with First National Bank, and we offer more mortgage options. We have a wider variety of loans to help you purchase a new home or lower your existing monthly payment. So, for a more custom mortgage loan of any size, contact local First National Bank. We'll show you an extraordinary customer experience and help you bring home more bacon. First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
How do we make a better sandwich at Subway? Our new chicken Caesar melt is a great example. We start with tender rotisserie-style chicken that's raised without antibiotics. Top it with a savory Caesar sauce and add melted provolone and a sprinkle of Parmesan cheese for a flavor that's so deliciously unique, it redefines what a better sandwich should taste like. The all-new chicken Caesar melt from Subway. Limited time only.
A short drive will save you money.
I'm Greg Walker with an exciting new offer from Feller Chevrolet. Purchase any new or used vehicle of Fellers and receive a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty and a 3-day, 100% money-back guarantee. Again, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty and a 3-day money-back guarantee. At Feller Chevrolet, we stand behind what we sell, and we save you money. Come see us. You'll be glad you did.
A short drive will save you money. Feller Chevrolet in Altavista.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
What a night for the Altavista Colonels. They win 33-19. Subway postgame show underway here from English Stadium in Altavista. Nice crowd tonight for the Colonels. They file out. They got to see pretty exciting football game, Oscar.
For week one, to come away with a win, and saw two good quarters of football out of the Colonels and two not so good quarters out of the Colonels. Those two turnovers were huge that we talked about earlier, and certainly the penalties in the first part of the game were debilitating for the Colonels. But overall, to come out with a 33-19 win, it's a good win for the Colonels.
It sure is. It's a great way to start. It's something they didn't do last year on the road at Lunenburg. So nice to avenge a loss from last year. I know Coach Sharness really doesn't ever play up the revenge factor, but as a player, it's probably in your mind. They know from year to year that, hey, Central-Lunenburg beat us last year. It's a game we could have won. And now they did get the win, 33-19. I'm Kyle Haney. He's Oscar Briggs. Glad you're here. We're going to get you some scores from some other ball games. There's some good ones going on out there. There's a few blowouts on week one, of course, but overall it's great to have high school football back in full swing. Colonels in the post-game huddle right now. Let's recap the scoring. It was Christian Gilbert that started things off for Altavista, an 11-yard scoring run. It was a 74-yard drive. Altavista led 7-0. Chargers answered, and they tied it up with a Deshaun Moore 12-yard touchdown run. He scored again in the second quarter. Chargers led there for a while. Or, excuse me, they didn't lead. They missed the extra point. It was 14-13 for a while. Jonathan Montague had a 9-yard score that gave the Colonels that second score of the night. And then in the second half, Oscar, things got pretty interesting. The Colonels opened with turnovers on their first two drives. Really couldn't get anything going. It was looking dire there for a while. They fell down. It was a Malcolm Brown 1-yard scoring touchdown that put Lunenburg up 20-14. And then the Colonels really seemed to take over from there.
Yeah, when Brown scored and they went up 19-14, after that it was all Colonels. That's when Shaheem ripped off that 40-yard touchdown run. Colonels went for two and didn't make it. Had to lead 20-19 at that point. And then it was Shaheem again on that 39-yard hole, big hole, touchdown burst. The extra point was good there. And then icing on the cake is with about 3.5 minutes left is interception from Shaheem in a 70-yard touchdown return.
Yeah, it was a fourth down situation where let's face it, the Chargers were in dire straits. He had to throw it up.
Sure.
You can't really fault Jackie Dalton III too much, the quarterback for Lunenburg. He had to fire it up and take a chance.
And, worst case scenario, you treat it like a punt.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do intercept, a lot of times they'll make the tackle, but they were unable to corral Shaheem, and the Colonels did a good job transitioning from defense to special teams, defense to offense, and boy, he gets a seam, and you're not going to catch him.
No, you're not. Colonel's defense, Oscar, let me point out a stat that I was particularly impressed with. Lunenburg was 2 for 10 on third down situations tonight. As a defense, if you can hold a team to 20% on third down, you're going to have success. Now, Lunenburg did pick up a fourth down in there, but for the most part, Colonel's defense did what they had to do.
Well, one of those two was a hard count.
Exactly.
So really,
penalty.
they were, in actual situations, they were 1 for 10. Or 1 for 9, so great job by the Colonels on third down. And really the defense played solid all night. The scouting report that Coach Sharnas had seen, we thought we'd see more spread out of them, and they never went to it tonight.
Really didn't ever go to it. Everything was from a shotgun, but it was tight. It was tight splits, 2 tight ends, a wing back, a blocking back. It was an interesting setup for Lunenburg. And it was one that they had success with, but ultimately just not enough success. It's an Altavista win, 33-19. Quick timeout here for just a second. Some scores as we go to the break. Jefferson Forest got the win, 36-27. Rustburg a winner, 49-14 over Tunstall. EC Glass leading by 3. They're in the fourth quarter against Harrisonburg. Dan River Wildcats knock off the defending 2-time 3A state champions. They beat Magna Vista, Oscar, 36-21. There's something to keep an eye on. We'll grab a few more as we head to break here. It's a final. Amherst did beat Salem 42-40. That sounds like an all-time type of game right there. Great stuff on a Friday night. Glad that you have stopped by and joined us. If you listened to the whole game, we appreciate it. If you're just checking us out for a few seconds, we appreciate that
Absolutely.
too. Stick around. We'll take one final time out here in the Subway post-game show. Some player of the game stuff, and then we're off to more real country music. Great win here tonight for the Colonels. 33-19. You heard it all live on 105.5 KD Country.
Hello, this is Jerry Motley from 1433 Altavista Moose Center. It's asking everybody to come on down and join us and see what the Moose is all about to help us support our Moose Heart, Moose Haven family. Anybody's welcome to come down and take a tour of our building and see what's going on. Come on down and we'll let you in and we can have some fun. We're looking forward.
Meet Jerry and the rest of the Altavista Moose family and become a member. The Altavista Moose Family Center on Lynch Mill Road.
National Hardware is heavy-duty, durable, and practical. English's Building Supply has a broad selection of National Hardware products. Shelf brackets, hinges, angle brackets, screw eyes, hooks, turnbuckles, whatever your hardware needs, National is the name and English's is the place. For hardware at its best, shop English's Building Supply.
English's is your complete home center.
North Main Street in Altavista.
Napa know-how.
Pennzoil Platinum Synthetic Motor Oil for just $4.99 a quart at Napa is filled with super smart oil technology. But I'm not an oil scientist, so I can't explain all that. However, I am smart enough to know that grabbing Pennzoil Platinum Synthetic for only $4.99 a quart is a smart deal. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General States pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer expires 9/30/16.
Brought to you by Napa of Altavista, proud supporter of the Altavista Colonels.
Good food, low prices, and great service keep customers coming back for more day after day at El Cazador Mexican Restaurant in Altavista. El Cazador is now open all afternoon, so you can come by anytime, any day, 11 a.m. till 10 p.m. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, a great place to unwind and relax with friends. Open 7 days a week, Main Street, Altavista. El Cazador thanks you for your business.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
One final segment of the Subway postgame show. You can eat fresh at 2 locations in Altavista, Main Street, where Oscar and I stopped by, or in the Walmart on Clarion Road. Eat fresh with Subway. The Chicken Caesar Melt is here at Subway for a limited time only. Get it while you can. And I will tell you, that is very good stuff. Much like the Colonels tonight, Oscar. Very good on the ground. You got to give that offensive line a whole lot of credit. Another score for you, Gretna won 35-18 over Randolph-Henry. Trying to keep an eye on all the people the Colonels are going to play in the future. Don't have a Prince Edward score, and the Colonels do travel to Farmville next week. If we know anything about Prince Edward, OB, they're going to be athletic, and they're going to have some size. Maybe perhaps a little on the undisciplined side, but it's never a team you can take for granted.
You're right. With their athleticism, it is never a team that you can overlook and start looking ahead. I'm still scrolling trying to see if I see a Prince Edward score.
While you do that, let me remind you, it was a 33-19 win here tonight for the Altavista Colonels. Thanks so much for everybody that tuned in. Thank you to our sound engineers, Eleanor and Katie. They did a great job, especially on week one, probably better than we did. And we'll get to our player of the game scenarios right now. It was Prince Edward taking on Windsor tonight, and it's 0-0 at halftime. So the Eagles are locked in a battle. That could be, you could spin that in a bunch of different ways if you wanted to. Colonels were locked in a battle here for most of the game, really. I mean, it was never put away until the interception return from Shaheem Pennell, the score there. I mean, clearly if he doesn't score, the Colonels could just grind out the clock on the ground. But it was never in doubt until then. I mean, if the Chargers pick up that fourth down there, back in business, we might still be playing football.
Well, we
right
very
now.
well could, and I'm a little bit puzzled at the clock management at the end of the game. At the last possession, you got it right at 3 minutes left, and really no sense of urgency by Lunenburg to get the ball into the end zone. A little bit confusing for me, but hey, Coach Thomas knows his players better than I.
Well, and it's a situation where I don't think any of us expected them to go into an NFL-style hurry-up offense, but they were going no huddle before. Everybody had wristbands. They could have signaled plays in like they had been previously, but they decided to huddle up before every play. So I'm with you. I'm a little surprised. But, hey, if you're a Colonel fan, why worry? Right. You're moving on. Oscar, it's player of the game time for us. I think it might be kind of simple for Altavista, but let me go first for Central-Lunenburg. Is that what we're doing? We're keeping with that tradition?
Absolutely.
All right, I'll start it off. I got to tell you, I think when this guy got injured, it was part of the reason why the Colonels had so much success running the ball and were able to break some long ones. My player of the game is going to be Raymond Alexander, number 80 for Central-Lunenburg. He was the main target in the passing game. He's a great blocker over there. That's why they ran to that right side a lot. And, boy, he's a force on defense. And remember, he got hurt in the second half. Chargers really weren't the same after that.
Yeah, I like the pick. I'm not going that direction. There are a couple players that I considered. I think Jackie Dalton is a sophomore. Did a good job managing the game for Central-Lunenburg. The one turnover was kind of a Hail Mary, all or nothing turnover, so really can't pin that on him. But I'm going to go with Deshaun Moore, who was the workhorse, got a bulk of the carries tonight. So for me, Deshaun Moore for Central-Lunenburg.
Love it. Great pick there. For the Colonels, they had three guys score. Christian Gilbert scored the first rushing touchdown. Jonathan Montague scored the second. You could probably credit all of the offensive line for those scores. You could probably give Mateo Mall back the player of the game. He did a nice job managing the game. There was a couple bad snaps that he fell on. It could have been worse situations. Of course, he does his thing on defense. But the direction I'm going, and from the body language, I think you might be going with me. You got to go with number 6, the Dream, Shaheem Pennell. 3 scores, 2 on the ground, 1 on the interception return.
Yeah, we talked about the coming out party for Shaheem in the fourth quarter, and certainly for me, it's clear cut that Shaheem is the player of the game. Now, Jake Adams had a great game, had some nice special teams plays, made some nice plays on defense. Mateo did a good job managing the quarterback position.
Stephen Farmer
on the line.
Yep.
Really, that whole offensive line did an outstanding job. It's certainly Stephen Farmer, the anchor. But, yeah, Shaheem Pennell.
Defense was really good tonight all the way around, but I think it's a consensus there. Shaheem Pennell with the player of the game. And always our player of the game is you, our fans. Thanks for listening. And remember, let us know you're listening. KD Country's Facebook page, the Twitter feeds of KD Country, and myself and even Mr. Briggs. And, hey, get in touch with us somehow, and we would really love to know that you enjoy the ball games. We also couldn't do it without our sponsors, Feller Chevrolet, now offering a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. That's almost unheard of, Oscar.
It is unheard of.
First National Bank, helping you bring home more bacon. English's, your complete home center. Orca Coolers at English's, many different shapes and styles and color varieties. Get your Orca Cooler at English's today or tomorrow. They're open at 8 a.m. Be there. They'll probably be there at 7:50. Napa Auto Parts of Altavista. Find your Napa know-how on Main Street in Altavista. Steve Farmer Auto Sales, best deals on wheels. El Cazador, Altavista's original Mexican restaurant. Shout out to any of the guys that are listening down there at El Caz. English Construction, wishing our high school athletes an exciting and injury-free game. The Moose Family Center. Visit the Altavista Moose Family Center to join and be a Moose. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer, warm in the winter, and comfortable in between. The Altavista Office of Economic Development, we invite you to come find one of a kind. PCM Industrial Services, now with mobile welding and repair services. Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service, a family serving families since 1905. Highview Motors, GMC, from small to tall, Highview has it all. D.L. Bryant Heating and Cooling. Call Donnie at 841-1580. That's 841-1580. And Autumn Care of Altavista, specializing in 24-hour skilled nursing care, physical, occupational, and speech therapies. That's going to wrap it up for us, folks. For Eleanor and Katie, for Mike Sharness, who we heard from earlier in the broadcast, and my partner, Oscar Briggs, Colonels get a win, 33-19 over Central-Lunenburg. We'll talk to you again next week from Farmville. The Altavista Colonels in town to take on the Eagles of Prince Edward. Until then, enjoy some more real country music on 105.5 KD Country.